Couple of funny things have happened over the last 24 hours.
De'Aaron Fox.
That was incredible.
Taylor Swift hugging a Jenner.
Well, it was tough for me to watch that game.
Those chicks from Licorice Pizza.
I had what? Who? What? Who's
Let me put my Nick Grimm hat on. They're in a band, actually. It's called Haim.
Yeah.
What?
That's who Taylor Swift was sitting with.
Those are
exact exchange off air with Happer and I, where he's like, "Yeah, Taylor Swift was with Haim." And I was like, "What the hell is Haim?" And so then he pulls this up. He's like, "Yeah, you know the chicks from Licorice Pizza." And I just look at him like, "These are words that are."
It's just the one. It's just the one.
Can I be real with you? I thought those women were like Taylor Swift's like high school friends.
They're like her best friends.
Well, I mean,
I thought they were like her sisters, though, or like non-famous people. I didn't know that those people accomplished anything.
The way it got described to them as a band then sounded like a Lifetime movie. This whole thing was happening off air.
It is weird that they're a band. I've never heard a song of theirs before.
I've only heard the songs that they've been on with Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, right.
So are they a band or are they a band?
I think they're a band.
Are they a front? Are they are they a money laundering band?
I don't think bands.
No, I think you have to make money to be a money laundering.
Oh, okay.
band.
I'm not really sure what they do.
A band seems like a terrible thing to launder money.
What's Licorice Pizza?
It's a movie.
Yeah.
A remake of a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just a terrible title for anything.
It's a good movie.
Stibbs, who is also
Licorice
of
is
music,
bad.
says they play instruments.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's how bands work.
They're not like Marty Bird, where they they're like the strip club of bands that they like launder money through.
Interesting.
I just don't think a band.
I'm gonna
is
get
something you
another.
wanna-
I'm gonna have
money
another
laundering.
band.
Too much overhead.
Yes, exactly.
I don't think that's gonna work.
Okay. I don't know how to launder money. At least that's what I would like.
I mean,
to
a
tell myself.
casino. That's what
Just
Marty
follow
Bird
how
did.
Colleges are doing it with NIL, and they'll give you.
Well, Marty Bird first did a strip club, and then he stole the deed. At the
He did
strip
a
club.
lounge.
Yes, a lounge.
He did a lounge.
And then he stole the deed
No,
of that
his
lounge.
first thing was that dock place.
Yeah, the Blue Cat.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the first.
That
The
is a good
lounge.
point.
Yeah.
Well, it
It was like a restaurant, right?
You're
Okay.
thinking of the gentleman's establishment
There
that
you
he
go.
ends up at.
Yeah.
because of
I'm
order.
not disputing the order. I'm just saying at one point he does get a strip
And
club.
then as always, it elevates to Riverboat Casinos.
Yes.
And somehow the Kansas City mob is involved.
Yep. People
And the
die.
guy who lives in his basement just happens to have ties to
I
it.
didn't know the Kansas City mob existed until
There's actually the
show.
Kansas City Syndicate was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there's. I mean,
They had a big chunk of the
at
middle
this
of the country.
point,
They were the
Metro-
West Coast rappers of the Prohibition era.
Every
making
nice.
a joke, but he's not.
That's a good one. That's a great
It's-
comparison.
It's a good joke.
I feel like every metro area, whether they were a big deal or not, claims to have some sort of mob ties or mobs were around at some point. And
Well,
it's
I
like
mean,
now a point of
I now want a
pride.
guest to come on Happer and Schaefer and tell us about the mob history of Omaha. Do we have is there a mob aficionado
Ooh.
of Omaha?
I bet we could find somebody on
And then we
that.
can have the new Godfathers just to tie it all together.
Is there like the
Reach out to the Durham.
Yeah, Durham people. I bet there's a couple World Herald people who would be decent at it.
I'm
Maybe not
envisioning
anymore.
Mark from the Clark County Museum in the Pawn Stars, the version of that guy that can just show up and tell me about Omaha's mob.
This is good.
This is not a Matt fact. This is
A
this is
Matt
true.
fact?
And a Mick fact, maybe, that Josh can look this up.
I don't know if you want to say that.
The mob members who were in Chicago, right, and the other surrounding Midwest areas, a lot of them who gave themselves up to the FBI and then they were put in witness protection, ended up getting outsourced to Skokie, Illinois. So there were some.
You wearing a wire?
There's the
That
guys.
seems okay. So we're gonna go 25 miles away from the center of the city.
Way out there.
This is one of those things where this was just like a room, like this was kind of a thing growing up where it's like, yeah, a lot of the mob members, like the retired mob members, ended up being in Skokie, and then it's like you do your research, it's like, oh, it kind of was a place that they put some retired mob members in.
Put them out to pasture in Skokie.
Was it Al Capone's brother was like a law enforcement officer
Ooh.
under a different name in Northeast Nebraska? Matthew Hansen wrote a story about this, and then this
That's
guy
good.
gets hauled back to Chicago where he has to like testify in this thing, and it comes out that he's actually related to the Capones or whatever.
Well, Capone's had
That's
some
very interesting.
had some dealings.
His name was Two Guns Hart, maybe.
That's a gun because he only has two guns.
Sounds like a college
No, this
baseball
is
player.
like a real amazing story. involving Nebraska and Chicago.
Like there are some Portillo's restaurants in Chicago that are just basically like odes to Capone.
There's so many places across the Midwest because of how he moved. You know,
sure.
he had my boy Capone had motion.
Richard James Hart.
So he was moving all across the Midwest. I went to this toilet in Kansas City and it said Al Capone pissed here.
Nice
on it. You know, like just one of those type of distilleries.
Do you think Al Capone was a vibe? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but he had motion.
Yeah. Well,
God forbid, give a white boy. You know,
I don't know. You should refer Al Capone as a white boy.
Well,
I think that's an easy way to get killed.
Look at this. I just got a text. There's a book written about the Omaha mob history. I could probably get you a copy of it. It was written by a former police officer. Interesting. I would
read the book.
I'd be curious about that.
Would definitely.
Thank you for that text.
It's Richard James Hart is the elder brother of Al Capone, and he was Two Gun Hart,
Two Chains,
Italian American sharpshooter and prohibition agent, who basically moved to Nebraska and hid his Capone identity to start over.
Cool. Wow.
This is funny. So I'm now on
pop stuff's so good.
I'm on a website now that details all of the names of the gangs and greasers in Chicago. There might be something Omaha adjacent to this, but they have all the names of the gangs that were around, the Capone Lords, and then all of the gangs under it. So there's
a whole cottage tourism industry in Chicago.
Big time.
Did you ever do any of this?
No,
stuff?
Zero.
Any interest in it ever?
I absolutely.
You grew up. You're like, I want to know more about the St. Valentine's Day massacre.
Yeah, kind of.
Take me to this garage where these people were mowed down against the wall.
Here are like some of the Capone Lord gangs: the Rice Boys, the Playboys, the Basement Boys.
I have no comments on any of these.
1620 loves everything boys. So
the Young Destroyers. There's also the Devon Boys, the Pulaski Park guys. The Byron and Costner boys, 12th Street Players.
Nice.
So I think they were just
with a Z.
No, with an S.
They would have been ahead of their time.
Hey, are we? Go ahead.
This one I did know about, the Evanston Saints. There was a gang called the Saints from Evanston. They hung out on Main Street.
Nice. Did they have different colored jerseys?
I have no idea if they had blue jerseys and orange jerseys.
One half is blue and one half is orange.
Yeah. The Irish Clowns. Oh, this is actually close to where my dad grew up, Damon and Montrose.
So
that's very interesting.
I had a call.
Was my dad an Irish clown?
From a guy.
I think he would know. He's alive.
I mean,
you can ask him.
I mean, this is basically he would be,
to be
the
fair,
age.
He never told Matt about Brian's songs. So.
There were some things that my dad had revealed to me when I was like 19, 20 years old that seemed pretty significant that he just held on to my entire life, basically.
There's always been
parents will do that.
People have had have you ever had a glance with the mob or anything like that?
I knew
my dad did. Definitely.
My dad definitely knew. I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of my.
Ask
my
your dad
father.
if he ever had just a glance with the mob. You know,
we do have a friend and Isaac, and he was a part of the Assyrian mob in Chicago, and he would tell us stories.
Whoa, that's a glance.
He would tell us stories of like how him and the Greek mob would get into like fights and slashes.
It's a whole new world out there. I don't even know.
He even admitted that one of his cousins unfortunately passed away.
Talk. This is a nice departure.
Yeah, let me ask my dad.
What do you got, Josh?
So we had a caller alert us to the Jackie Gone Multicultural Center on the campus of
Creighton,
Nebraska Lincoln.
Oh yeah.
For Creighton alum Jackie Gone, who was a mobster or bookie in Omaha.
I didn't know that's what she did.
That it's a he.
Jackie
well,
can also be a man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And at one time owned 25% of the available real estate in downtown Las Vegas. From right here in Omaha.
I know about the Gone family. There used to be the kitty on Creighton, which was their indoor baseball softball like hitting tunnels, basically. The Kitty Gone deal, which is now gone.
Oh,
okay. His Gone.
His grandson Brendan is a NASCAR driver, Matt.
Oh, Brendan what? Brendan who?
Gone.
Brendan Gone.
Oh, real gone.
Let's go, Brendan. They were saying.
I just texted my father. You ever have a run-in with any of the Chicago mobs or gangs growing up? We will see if Mike responds.
All right, cool.
Okay.
I was also thinking about this because I've been fed a lot of TikTok clips from The Departed lately
Good.
and Sopranos, which makes me want to watch Sopranos.
Whoa, you should do that.
I'm gonna be real with you. Sopranos is a big YouTube short TikTok. Like
It's hot right now.
I got real mad when you revealed that you just.
But it's everywhere all the time, all at once.
Yeah, I want to watch it now. I'm done watching the TikToks.
Going to watch.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah,
you're going to watch it.
Out of all of the things, that I see on TikTok that I'm most likely to end up actually sitting down and watching, I think Sopranos would be at the top of the list.
Okay, cool. But I was thinking,
we'll take that.
Are we due for a mob movie or show soon? Are we?
Yes. We totally
Saints
are.
of Newark was kind of the last thing, and that's like the playoff of the early Tony Soprano story.
I've said this before though, like I'm afraid about all the mob actors, like the actors that we typically
They're getting old.
They're getting old.
Yeah.
De Niro's old.
We lost Ray Liotta.
De Niro's beyond old.
Yeah. I mean it's
De Niro's done.
Like who is
actually
now,
he's got one more Meet the Fockers.
Who would
was
be
the House Painter is the last like big time movie that we got.
Well,
dude, no, I think there's another
the
Meet
Irishman
the
in the Irishman.
There you
go. I think there's another Meet the Fockers. I'm dead serious.
Well, there is another Meet the Fockers. There's a preview going around.
Yeah, if we were to cast
Ariana Grande.
That's got to be it.
If we were to cast a mob movie, who would be like who would be the next era of mob actors in a mob movie? I think you have to have Sebastian Maniscalco in there.
Yeah, I don't want to typecast too much here at risk
He's
of
already in something like The Bookie.
He
Which
was in The Irishman.
This.
He was in The Irishman, and he was in The Green Book, which had a lot to do with Italian people.
You like that movie?
I love The Green Book.
You've referenced it a lot in a short amount of time.
I very much enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the movie.
I rewatched
we
it.
have,
It's on
we
Netflix.
have
I
no
rewatched it
shortage
2
of
weeks ago.
slick back hair guys.
Yeah.
But
I
we
think
need
that the mob
some
people can still be trotted out.
We need some more hard
Christopher
features.
can bring out
Christopher
Anthony,
Candidate.
whatever his name is.
When I saw Christopher in Goodfellas, I was like, wow, like talk about a guy who's just all about
Maybe
one
it's Michael.
genre.
Who's Christopher?
In Sopranos.
You'll know
He's
him in
Spider.
Sopranos.
He's Spider.
Oh,
Tony's
the younger
nephew,
guy?
He's like
Yeah.
his favorite person.
Yeah, the younger guy.
He's
yeah.
Christopher in Sopranos, but he's Spider. In
Yeah, the last clip I
Goodfellas.
saw, he was mad because his girlfriend got in a car accident with Tony, and he was driving at 2:00 in the morning. He's like, "Why are you driving with him at 2:00 in the morning?"
It's your midlife crisis. Everybody know you do what to a glove right now? Is what he said. That's the last clip I saw.
Interesting. I'm done. I'm officially done watching clips. I'm skipping the clips now.
You're done with
Michael
I want to watch the show.
Imperioli.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that guy. Yeah, get him in there.
I believe he also had a watch along podcast with The Sopranos. That's the thing now.
A lot of
not
Put a
interested in
series
that.
together.
Yep.
Can I
He
interest?
does a Jose Cuervo commercial, I think. I think
He does do a Jose
or
Cuervo
it's either
commercial.
Jose Cuervo or some other.
I think
name brand
you know what?
tequila.
I think it might be Dos Equis. Wasn't he in a Dos Equis? I think he's in a Dos Equis.
Well, that's a very different thing than tequila.
That's it.
Uh,
That's great beer.
Bigelow says Mobland was on Paramount Plus last year, but that was the English Mob, which I am not interested in.
If you have Paramount Plus, I would recommend the show that's about the making of the Godfather movie.
Oh yeah,
And everything that went into that
was
has
pretty
Miles
solid.
Teller in it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't
The
like Miles
Family.
Teller, but that was pretty solid.
Is it different than the Rewatchables podcast on Godfather?
I would say it's different.
Which I listen to every now and again, and it just holds up every time. It's so
I have
funny.
never listened to that.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Bill just takes it in so many different directions.
We have a response from Mike McMaster.
Okay.
LOL. Hell no. Smiling face.
Wow, what's that mean?
What? Does a man not tell? Is he not going to give his guys up? What's that clip I always see of De Niro where it's like they're trying to get old man De Niro to rat out his old Italian mob buddies and he won't do it. They're like, they're gone. Like Frankie the Lip, blah, blah, blah. They're gone. They're Sally Buns. They're all dead. Why won't you give them up? And he's just like, I won't talk. You know where?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know
Fair
what
enough.
you're talking about. I'm trying to think of what you're
Is
talking
this
about.
in one of like the Analyze This or Analyze That movies?
It's just
with Billy
always
Crystal and Robert
like
De Niro?
a gif. It's always like a meme where it's like, me giving up like my friend's group chat and it's like the Robert De Niro in like a wheelchair not giving up the Italian mob members when he's like 90 years old.
I've never seen that meme. You're too
Surprised
deep into
I
the
didn't
memes.
see any De
Is that-
Niro at the Knicks game.
Is that
by
the
way.
Irishman?
Maybe.
The end of the Irishman. I think he got real old and decrepit.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's
Aged
it.
real or they're fake aging
They're
like
fake.
they did to de-age him,
Very fake.
which did not work.
I always thought that
Benjamin Button.
if the Italian mob movies go away, we do have enough Boston actors where we can just trot out more Boston movies.
Well, they don't have to be the Italian mob. There's lots of good mob tales that,
Many mobs.
Barry didn't feature Italian mobsters.
The Chechen mob.
That was excellent.
Yeah.
Barry's a show you should
No
watch
Ho
that
Hank.
you'll never watch, but
Super nice guy.
Well, we need John Malkovich then in those movies. He'd be like the ringleader of the. I just remember John Malkovich in Rounders, and I'm like, he needs to play more of that guy more.
Well,
pay
I
that
mean,
man his money.
Bathe that man.
that
is
was such a
mine.
ridiculous accent. I mean,
He's got alligator blood.
I mean, he was actually terrible. He was so terrible at acting that part that it was good. Like
He reprises that accent in Billions when he plays a Russian oligarch. And all I can think about is like, oh man, if he has an Oreo in this scene, I am going to lose it.
God. So good. All right. So another quick little topic.
topic alert.
Ooh.
So my roommate, Dan.
Roommate Dan.
with that, Dan.
Never met Dan.
You will meet Dan this weekend.
I don't know if I'll meet Dan Sindelar or Platcat first. See, those are people that I always talk about that I've never met.
Probably Platcat. Platcat's
Well,
the most.
He hung out with us yesterday.
Yeah, he's the most. What's the word I'm looking for?
social.
He's just there.
Yeah. He's very active.
Well, he was at the Crown.
He was at the Crown
When
as
I
a
fir-
media member.
When I first got into here in Omaha, like a year and a half ago, like Platcat found me at a Creighton game, like pulled me aside. Was like, this is what you need to know.
That's
You
right.
know? Like he kind of gave me the lay of
Like
the
a
land.
He's like the Twitter mob.
Seriously. So Dan, diehard Creighton Blue Jays fan. Okay. And just for context here, like Dan's not very impressed by a lot of what I do, except for the fact that 1620 is the home of the Jays. And when
Can I call
I
a timeout here?
go ahead.
Are there a lot of people that are impressed by what you do?
I think there are a lot of people very interested in what I do.
Okay, yeah.
The fact that I talk a lot about sports and everything.
Okay.
And Dan, I mean, it's so like Dan's not disrespectful about it. It's just like what it is, right? And other than when I told him I was going to do Blue Jay overtime, he was very excited about
This
that.
guy sounds amazing.
And when I told Dan that I was thinking of not doing Blue Jay overtime, Dan legitimately got mad at me. He was like, "What do you mean you're thinking of not doing it? What an honor you have to do the post-game shows for Creighton men's basketball."
Everything you're saying is awesome. Right now.
You're thinking about giving that up, and he got upset with me. So yesterday it was his birthday, and I bought him a Nike Creighton men's basketball. Okay, a basketball that has the Blue Jay logo on it and the Creighton Blue Jay like font on it. Like it's a nice basketball.
Did you get it from Shields?
I got it from Shields.
Was it for sure a men's basketball?
Yes. Yes, it was. And I told Dan, I go, like we could probably take that ball and maybe get it signed by somebody. Like we're connected enough where we can get that signed by a player or a coach, like whatever you want. And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. But what I want,
Connor would sign it.
I go, what I want, like more than anything, is to shoot a half-court shot at halftime of a Creighton men's basketball game. And
You're like, oh, that's interesting.
I go, really? And he's like, yeah. I'm like,
What an odd desire.
I was like, we could maybe get that done. And so I took the picture and I sent it to you. And so now Dan is wondering, are there any more steps that he needs to take in order to ensure that he gets a half-court shot at a
You know what
Blue
I
Jay
want to do?
basketball
Make him
game?
write a letter.
I want to
Or put a
miss a
resume.
half-court shot in front of 12,000 people.
so the
He
thing
told
here,
me it's his dream. He told me it's his. I mean, we're talking about a man who went to the non-con games of South Dakota and North Dakota by himself and sat at the 300 level.
good job.
Like
That's what I'm
this
talking
is
about.
his dream to
All right.
shoot a half.
So here's the deal. We don't know. I don't know what the games are going to be like because the sponsors help make that up and stuff like that. So we won't know until we go. But odds are there's going to be some sort of basketball shooting game.
Okay.
I don't know.
Weird not to be.
I don't know if it's specifically going to be a half court shot,
Yeah.
or like you got to make a layup at a free throw and a 3, and they're gonna whatever. But I think we can make that happen. Yeah.
I was wondering, is there any way that we could like make this a big event where it's like Dan lives out his dream and that's the promo?
What do we get out of that? Or what do we do with that?
I don't know. I could promote it on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Like I could just be like, Dan has been a little boy. We wouldn't have all of the like little Dan pictures of him.
I could
wearing
definitely
Creighton stuff.
rip something off in the intro. It's
It'd
like,
be
hey,
like,
this is the
Dan-
whatever shot brought to you by whatever place.
We're fulfilling a wish tonight.
Yes, yes. We're
want-
fulfilling a childhood dream tonight.
I want a voiceover narration where Dan is sitting at a table writing a letter, and the voiceover narration
Yeah.
is him with the letter saying how much a half-court shot would mean to him.
Dear Dan.
Dear basketball.
Yeah, basically like that. And then as that is going on, there's like little snippets of clips and photos of him growing up playing basketball.
Seriously.
Or you get like
Going to Jay's games.
footage of him attempting to shoot basketballs now very poorly.
Yeah.
Or I assume, I don't know. Is he good at basketball?
Dan was a very good basketball player.
All right. So
at
he
one
wouldn't be
point in his
poor.
life. Dear
make this an
basketball. Ever
entire
since
thing.
I could
Just
remember.
tell him to come find me at one of the games. We'll do it.
We're gonna get. I offered him like we can get the ball side, and he was like, "Yeah, that's fine." He's like, "That'd be okay," but I want to shoot a half court shot.
Is he going to display the ball or play with the ball?
He's going to display it.
Okay.
He's not going to play with the ball. I told him that he can't play with the ball.
So you bought him a display item.
Yes.
Okay.
He's got a new bedroom, and the new bedroom is like very nice, and he's got room to display these things.
I think you got the pull to get this done.
I'm looking right at my poll.
That's
I'm
right.
looking at the pollee. That's
I got a marriage
Ooh, a
proposal to happen once.
yeah. I think that if I feel like you could package this as we have a man whose dream it's been to shoot a half court shot.
Really,
You
all
can
I would
milk
have
it.
to do is say, "Hey, I got a guy. If you don't want to pick one tonight, I got a guy for you."
Happer's a dream.
Yeah.
You can do that too.
Yeah.
I wanted to add a little, emotion to it.
This
if
guy
you just-
really, really wants to do it.
Yeah.
We once did a fake segment and made your kid's like 10th birthday because he was picking which football team he was joining in Lincoln.
Yeah, it was like the
And he-
Vipers or
yeah,
something like
He
that.
wanted a recruiting hour style breakdown of his commitment.
Oh
and
my! And
we
you guys
talked about
did that?
like what
That's
position
so
he was
cool.
going to play, and
That's
then in the
so
notes
sick.
of this, it said that he really wanted to be a like rising 3-star is how he wanted to be referred to.
I love this.
It was
kid.
awesome.
Yeah, I
His
love
name
that
was
kid.
Cole, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think I know the
we
last
gotta
name. I'm
dig
not gonna
that
say
out.
it,
I don't know where.
Did
we
he
would
end up
find
doing
that.
anything in his life? Did he end up
I
like?
mean, he was only like
He-
5
Did he
years
grow
ago.
up to be Dylan
He
Raiola?
would be right in the range where he's in high school now.
Okay.
So we should talk to the person who set this whole thing in motion.
You go
That
back through
kid ended up being Trae Taylor.
You you go
What
back.
an amazing story.
You go back through the notes. You're like, oh my god, Owen Price. We did that for Owen Price.
Yeah. No,
That'd be pretty.
that was great. So we've done.
Good for
Happer
you.
makes things happen for people.
Okay.
I love the people.
Happer's happenings. That should be a thing.
Happer's happenings. There's nothing more better than alliteration in radio. You know,
We love alliteration.
alliteration's awesome. I say that sarcastically. I find it pretty lazy, but you're talking to the guy who's
Your name is alliterative.
literally. Do you know what's more lazy than
Wait,
alliteration?
you don't like alliteration?
No, I just think alliteration could be lazy.
Radio contrarian Matt McMaster.
This is very interesting. He's contrarianing himself.
Well, no, I'm.
Your
I,
own
I,
identity.
Days
I,
with Matt.
I exactly that. And
To be fair, he had zero input on
I
it.
That is
had-
true. That show was named.
literally, like
Just like he'll have zero input on the name of his son.
we sat we sat at a table.
Michael.
And
Hamilton.
you guys go, what do you want your show to be called? And I gave 3 names, and you guys go, well, the graphics already made for these 2 names.
Here's the thing.
So wait. You go, the graphic is made for these 2 names. And I picked the other name.
Mhm.
And then it
That's
was
right.
told, well, we
Why don't
like
you
the
go with the other
graphic better. It's actually going to be Middays with Matt. So that was, I had 0.
What was
input
the
on
other
name.
one again?
The Matt McMaster show.
Oh, yeah.
That was just,
Middays with Matt's better.
I think I definitely convinced you on that one because I always hated the Connor Happer show. I always wanted to change it, but then I couldn't once it started,
Mhm.
So
your
it's-
wife is my biggest hater. You know that?
She's savage, I tell you.
she was hating on me yesterday for my cord ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little, I will admit, like 15 minutes of what could
She
have been.
started rapping, and I'm like, no, honey, no. Thank you, but no.
that
no.
might be the most unorganized thing I possess.
Yes, that has to.
It's a
I-
100-foot long Ethernet cable that is completely and irreversibly tangled.
It is a ball.
So I spent about 10 minutes untangling it, and
You can't get to the end.
I
It's
did
impossible.
not get to the end. Josh
Sounds
was at
like
the
a challenge.
Josh was at the point where he was looking at me being like, we're good. You're fine.
we're-
It's long
we're-
enough. You just go up there and plug.
I got enough slack. We're good.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I've wasted hours.
I got down pretty low. Like I was doing an okay job at it. But anyway, That's the cross.
I did almost buy you a spool yesterday, though.
That would fix everything.
It would.
But I would still have to untangle it.
Yeah.
Would that be the best gift to give Connor Happer? Things to organize his things with?
You know what? Now that I think about it, I have a spool.
It had to have
But
come
not-
with a spool.
Not like a cord spool.
The way that you like looked into the ether and it all hit
His-
you at
his
once.
eyes
Like
were
you
so
gonna be
bright.
hit with the greatest bit of inspiration of your life, and the words that came out of your mouth was, "I have a spool."
You were like,
But I was trying to remember where I got the spool because I think it for some reason it came with my house.
You know what?
you know what?
I have a spool.
I have a spool. I have a spool.
That was as close to fake Sipple version of real Happer as you're gonna get.
That was incredible.
I have a
I
spool.
thought you were about to be. You know what? Yeah, I like being given
Yeah.
things to organize things, but
Well, yeah,
instead,
we know that.
yeah.
So he
the
hates the
organizational
container
tools,
store.
fantastic.
More comment from my wife.
Hello.
OMG, let me untangle and spool the cord. I have so little joy in my life.
Wow,
All right.
sad.
Kind of insulted by that. But,
You could have.
Wow.
I will. Leave
but I'm not going to
it-
be around for the next 10 days.
I'll leave it here. If you ever
Does
come
that
and
add or hurt her joy?
Probably adds to it. Good question.
she sometimes shows up and delivers some things to Josh.
mhm.
I'll just leave the cord right there at my desk.
I really am like one knitted blanket away from Josh Odson's family of officially like being their kid. Like I am one.
She
knit-
does knit.
I
Yeah,
am
you
one.
go to
knitted-
movies with the Petersons.
I mean, there are so many
You're
people
just
who
adopted by
there-
all of these people.
there's so many people who claim to be my
We
fathers
tried
and
to invite
mothers
you to
and
stuff,
people.
and you said no. You had other.
I
plans.
have so many fathers. I can't add another one. I have an actual dad, and then like three
I'm not
men
even
who
going to show
claim to
you
be my
Brian's song.
dad.
I'm letting your dad do that.
Josh claims to be my father. Michael Severe
Mm-hmm.
claims to be my father. Josh Peterson claims to be my
This
father.
is the Omaha. This is the Omaha nature. This is how we are programmed.
It takes a village to raise a broadcast.
Come
We-
on in. We'll fix you
We
a
have
plate.
to. We just got to show you something. You know.
It makes me feel terrible about myself because so many people feel like they need to fix me.
Well, you keep.
No, they see potential in you that
It's
you're
not
wasting.
that.
Horribly.
That's a great spin zone. That's a
They
Bill
just
Simmons
don't
summer.
want you to go
I'm
down
wasting horribly.
Yeah, you caught that at the
wasting
end of it.
horribly.
I
I'm
would
glad
say
you caught that at the
you-
very end.
you talk about so much how you're from Chicago that it makes people want you to not be from Chicago. And-
Retweet.
They want you to be
Literally.
Midwestern Matt.
Guys, if I could not be born elsewhere, at this point
You're
it'd be great for
technically
my
not even
career.
born in Chicago. You're
There it is.
You're Matt from Minnesota.
I first off, I moved to Minnesota directly after I was born. I was born in Evanston, Illinois.
Okay, so
I
not
was
Chicago.
I was born basically on the campus.
You were
of
born in the
Northwestern.
worst Big Ten city.
I don't know. Evanston's a pretty awesome Big Ten. city.
Piscataway.
Yeah,
well,
there you go.
that's true.
Where's Maryland at?
College Park isn't
Yeah.
great either.
Mhm.
I mean, it's so hard to get to Penn State. I mean,
I think Evanston is losing to State College.
Evanston's it's right on the lake.
I don't.
It's right there on the beach. A lot
Were
of
you- Josh,
great
were you
old
born in
colonial
Omaha?
I was,
buildings.
You were born in Columbus,
Columbus.
Where were you born? New York.
White Plains, New York.
Yeah, but you're in Omaha.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
very
from
much, very
you're
much so.
from
He's an
Omaha.
Omahan that likes to kind of claim New York. Like very
Absolutely.
much this NBA Finals matters to him.
Yeah,
It's in my bag.
he's
It's for sure in
claiming-
my bag.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
was bing
yeah.
bonging.
This is like leading up to be like. I hope to be here for a very long time, and then if I were to go elsewhere, it's gonna be like I'll go elsewhere somewhere in my life, and I'll be called Nebraska, or they'll
That's
my
true.
or my nickname will
probably.
be like my nickname if I go elsewhere might be Omaha because of the amount of time I've spent in Omaha.
That bleep will come back with you.
Do you know how funny that would be too if like I were to go elsewhere and my nickname is Omaha
You move back
but-
to Chicago
but-
and people
and
call you Omaha Matt.
and like it's just like I can't win. Like I was never from
Mhm.
Nebraska. Now I'm not from Chicago. I'm just a nomad. I'm Mick Nomad. I
That
can't
is
claim
true.
anything.
This is exciting.
Like
McVagrant.
you're excited about this? You're excited for me to have a
it's
nickname for a
interesting
place
'cause-
that never claimed me?
I don't claim any of the place. Like I don't really claim Lincoln. I don't claim Columbus, and I certainly haven't claimed Bennington or the Metro. I just like I'm from Nebraska. It
Ooh,
all
someone
works
should
together.
claim Bennington before it really pops. you know?
Oh,
No,
should I
thank you.
should I move to Bennington and be Matt McBennington?
I don't
Not
think
sure you could
I think
afford
your
it.
setup now where you're at is better. For
There's some
your age.
apartments up there.
There are apartments.
God, I'm happy that I have the apartment I have right now. Until
If
that
you really
first
want to
bill's
like
gonna
get
come
married
through.
and have a kid early in life, Bennington's probably a better avenue.
I don't want to do any of those things.
Well, you talk about it a lot. You want to get a girlfriend. You want to get married.
I mean, the
you wanna have-
girlfriend talk is more of like a funny ha-ha thing. If I really wanted a
Oh, it
girlfriend,
doesn't always come off as funny.
if
ha-ha.
I really wanted a girlfriend for the sake of having a girlfriend, I could have a girlfriend. But I don't want to have a girlfriend for the sake of having a
You
girlfriend.
think you just
Talking about a
snap your
mail order
fingers and
girlfriend?
have a girlfriend?
I mean, it's not that hard in
They
my
don't grow on
generation.
trees.
It's not that hard in my generation with all the apps to accomplish that. Like, if you
It doesn't. That
It's
doesn't
like a
make it
nuclear
easier,
sub.
does
You
it?
got to turn two
you don't-
keys.
You don't think it makes it easier?
I think it
could,
makes.
I could go on my phone right
I think
now.
it makes it easier to meet people,
you
but
were like talking against every statistic that says people date less now, interact less now, compared to like
but
the generations before us, where they were getting together when they were 14.
we were just
forever.
hanging out.
But once again, you go interact like my generation interacts less now, which is true. This is a known thing.
Snapchat.
I am not a part of that.
You are part of your generation.
No. I am not a part of the statistic.
Are
of
you
people
saying
who
the
don't-
person you're going to meet is not part of your generation?
I'm saying that I am not a part of the people of my generation who don't interact with
Sure.
others. I interact with others probably more than most.
You are a
people
bit
of
of
my
a social
generation.
butterfly.
A bit. I think that's my brand at that point. Like I talk to everybody, I meet people.
This
like
is different than getting a girlfriend.
I'm
Who,
I'm telling
if
you
they're
right
from
now,
your generation,
good
would
start,
fall
though.
in the stereotype that you defy.
I'm telling you right now that if I wanted to just have a girlfriend to not be in love with them, not
You make
care
it sound
about
like
them,
getting a
not to-
puppy, by the way.
But this isn't just a me thing. I think this for everybody of my generation. Like, I think that you could go out there. There's such a big pool and it's so easy to find people that you could just find somebody who just wants to be in a relationship to be in one. That exists. I know people right now in relationships.
That is defeating the purpose of what I'm saying.
okay.
I'm not challenging you to ask
To have
someone
a
on the
sham
street
relationship.
to be their girlfriend, and then she says yes. Like that's not what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That is you're defeating the purpose.
I know.
You are purposefully being obtuse.
That's kind of my brand at this point. That's the
Not always
crossover.
purposely. Sometimes you get there naively.
That's a crossover powered by Concrete Repair in Omaha. Ever love
could get a
concrete?
girlfriend. That lady on
.com.
TV is my girlfriend.
Middays with Matt is coming up next on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people. Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call.
Make room for Daddy! But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt live and rolling here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network. Matt McMaster, as always, joined by Josh Hodson here at our studios on 50th and Dodge in Omaha, 1620 The Zone AM here, 97.7 The Zone in central Nebraska. J.O., how are you?
I'm doing great.
Doing great. We are only
enjoying the air conditioning for one final day.
Yes, 24 hours away from every game on the 1620 Zone Radio Network of the College World Series in 24 hours, actually less than 24 hours, in 23 hours and 24 minutes. We will be broadcasting live from the Omaha Baseball Village. Myself, Josh Hodson, with a plethora of hosts. It really will be me and you. I mean, you're going to be there every day. I will have a day off, I believe, on Wednesday, but get used to us at the Omaha Baseball Village, baby. Middays with Matt, joined with Mike Schaefer, Brian Gallagher, Matt Williams, Tyler Cavalli, along with a host of other great guests will be joining us. We'll have some of our regulars. Got to talk to some people to, schedule some things out, but we'll give you some of our regular guests. I'm sure Michael Severe, impromptu, will just come on the show and we'll talk some college football, talk some gambling. I'm sure at some point we might have some recruiting talk with Tim Verghese or whomever it might be. We do have, I'm not going to spoil it yet, but we really have a great treat for you tomorrow in terms of the guests we're going to have on at 11:30. It's a couple of guys that I'm a very big fan of. You might be a very big fan of already, that I've been on their podcast. It was actually one of the first podcasts I ever did when I got here in Omaha. So we'll have.
You got Bill Simmons?
No, I did not do a Bill Simmons interview, though. Tate Frazier, who we've had on the show before. Yeah. You remember Tate? He's a North Carolina man. And so maybe Tate will be in town. It'd be cool to get Tate
Diamond
on the
Heels.
show. We will see remember when the Hubert Davis thing was going on and, whether or not he was going to get let go and whether or not, who might they hire, we had Tate on and he gave us some of the best information we got. I mean, some of the things that Tate was telling us about the North Carolina job didn't come out for a couple of weeks after he was on the show. So maybe if Tate ends up in Omaha, we'll see what happens there. We have some Nebraska connections in terms of basketball coaches and other notable members of the College World Series teams who maybe will land a big guest. Will we get the Pete Rose equivalent at the Omaha Baseball Village? No.
I was going to say, I had terrible news for you.
No. I know Pete Rose has since passed away, which, by the way, Pete Rose has passed away, and I haven't heard his name brought up more since his death. I mean, we have talked a lot about Pete Rose over the last couple of days because of Brendan Sorsby, where talk about a guy where it's like, why didn't they? He just keeps getting brought up in terms of something that's becoming more and more prevalent. Pete Rose was gambling on things he couldn't gamble on before it was cool. Now everybody's doing it, and they're not. Look, that's the thing too. Like, Pete Rose, rest in peace. I think there are some people who'd be like, who have legitimately said and who have legitimately thought, I wonder what Pete Rose would have had to say about this whole Sorsby situation, because he's the most infamous situation when it comes to punishment after gambling on your own team. But
you know how to hold a bat? You hold a bat by its wings.
I always see that Pete Rose video of him on the MLB network where it's like, never let a hitter tell you, or never let a pitcher tell you you're in a slump. You do one of 6 things. You go back in the box, you go front of the box, you go closer to the plate, away from the plate, choke up on the bat, go lower on the bat. It's awesome. You know the Pete Rose quote of the easiest place to hit is the MLB, is the Major League Baseball. Like, it's easier to hit in Major League Baseball than it is in the minors, is what he claimed. Easy for Pete to say when he's got over 4,000 hits that it's easy to hit in Major League Baseball. But anyway, Omaha Baseball Village, it will be a ton of fun. A lot of great guests, a lot of fun things that will be happening in the lead up to the College World Series games. Very excited to see our coverage. John Bishop, Connor Happer in the booth, along with Josh Peterson on in the dugouts, on the sidelines, on the field, talking to coaches and players, and maybe interviewing some notable, famous people, notable alum from all of these incredible universities. Very excited for that. Mike Farron will be in the booth with John Bishop as well. That'll be a ton of fun before we get to the finals with Kevin Kugler. So very excited to see our coverage, 1620 The Zone's coverage of the College World Series. Honored to join, to be a part of the team for the second year. So it'll be a lot of fun. So tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we will begin our coverage at the Omaha Baseball Village. But before then, we have a great show of Middays with Matt ahead of you today. We have to get to some things that we didn't get to yesterday. New segment that this will not be a segment where we're going to do it every Monday or we're going to do it every Tuesday. It'll be something that we do throughout the football season. When it happens, it happens. Buy, sell, hold, or bet. This will be a series where I will go ahead after reading some of these college football preview magazines that are now releasing. We're very excited to be able to read all of the things that people are saying about teams in college football. Like Josh Peterson famously says, the beginning of the College World Series is the beginning of college football season. And so we'll have plenty of college football talk at OBV, but buy, sell, hold, or bet. Am I buying the stock of certain teams? Am I selling my stock on certain teams? Am I holding my stock, or am I putting my own money behind teams that we will preview throughout the entirety of the college football season? Today, we will do two opponents for Nebraska football this season. Buy, sell, hold, or bet on Illinois and Washington football. We'll talk a little Caden Hauser. We'll talk a little Damond Williams. We'll talk a little Ryan Walters. And we'll talk some defense. We'll talk some continuity, draft picks, Washington, Jed Fish. Can he carry the boats? Can he hold the Washington Huskies together after the mass amount of drama they had surrounding their team after LSU seemingly took a run at Damond Williams and tried to render his services to be their quarterback before they acquired Sam Levitt? So we will talk a little about Illinois and Washington football, two teams that, when we talk about the schedule of death for Nebraska football, two teams that always pop up in terms of being on the second tier of teams Nebraska will play, Washington and Illinois. We will talk about them today. But before we talk about that, we'll talk about the big thing that happened in sports yesterday. The collapse of all collapses. The San Antonio Spurs down 2-1 in the NBA Finals, an NBA Finals where they were heavily favored to win. Might I remind everybody, when we entered this finals, a lot of people believed this would be smooth sailing for the San Antonio Spurs, that they wouldn't have that big of a problem getting past the Knicks of New York, that Victor Wembanyama, Dominic Vassell, along with Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper.
Hey, I said the
Bryant.
series would end in 5, okay?
A lot of people thought that San Antonio would have no problem moving past New York. I can't believe that I'm saying this right now. The New York Knicks are up 3-1 against the San Antonio Spurs. My God, a collapse of all collapses. The Spurs had a 29-point lead.
They sure did.
A 29-point lead against the New York Knicks. And somehow, some way, everything fell apart. Devin Vassell started missing shots. Champetti started missing shots. Castle started missing shots. The Spurs scored like 30 points.
Literally 30 points in the second half.
In the second half.
They scored like 42 in the first quarter.
They went 8 for 39 from the field in the second half. Absolutely disgusting display of basketball, especially towards the end. The thing about this collapse
is that I missed it.
Well, you did miss it. And I did tell you not to catch up, and I'll tell you everything that happened.
I said, screw this game. I got better things to do with my time.
Let me warn you, Josh. The beautiful thing about this collapse is that there are shades of a bunch of other collapses in this one, right? There's like There's like cameos of other incredible playoff collapses that we've seen. There were moments
I
where
love
like,
when a reboot reminds you of the original.
it's like they were Will Smith sampling a song in the 90s, you know? They're like, oh, that's a great beat.
Good pull by you.
And then like, oh, Will Smith's on this track. I feel like Will Smith sampled a lot of songs in his rap career. Anyway, what I was going to say is that you look at this, J.R. Smith. They're showing the J.R. Smith collapse. That's one I was going to mention. There was a moment where you go, J.R. Smith, he doesn't understand what's going on in the game. De'Aaron Fox has no idea what the situation is. Victor Wembanyama looking like Nick Anderson at the free throw line. You also had the entire San Antonio Spurs looking like the 0 for 27 Houston Rockets with all the three-point shots they were missing.
Wow.
I would say this before we get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
Of what happened yesterday in Madison Square Garden. San Antonio's youth showed. That's the number one takeaway from all of this.
I'm really excited for you to walk me through this because you just said, oh, they missed all those threes. And I'm like, don't they know they have a 7.5-foot alien down by the basket? Just whoop, whoop.
Sometimes I think,
oh no, we're struggling from three. We need a basket here. I don't know. Let's just throw it to the guy who's 7.5 feet tall.
I think sometimes Victor Wembanyama forgets that he's 7'6". You know what I'm saying?
I
think there are sometimes that even he forgets he's a giant and that he should just be able to get close to the basket and put his hand
about
up.
him.
So when LeBron James lost in 2011, the number one thing that he worked on was his post game. He went into that offseason and he worked on his post play. He was like, I need to be able to hit fadeaways. I need to hit bump fades. I need to be able to operate 10 feet away from the basket. I need to give myself a better shot at just either shooting three or driving to the basket. I need to open up my game a little bit and be deadly from 10 feet, because if I can be deadly from 10 feet, it's going to give me other opportunities on the floor to be more free. Because they don't want, once they start pushing you out of a spot and pushing you off of the block, then you're more advantageous to get to the basket. Victor Wembanyama, I think, needs to do the same thing. Like, it's either he's just praying and hoping that he's quick enough to turn the corner against a bigger guy, or he's shooting threes. It's that, or Mitch Johnson is running an action that gets him to the basket with a lob. There are just moments where I feel like, can the guy not operate in the post? Like, can he not post up here and give me a jump hook or give me something off the backboard? Or can he not just kind of one dribble and get closer to the basket, or just something like some sort of 10-foot game for Victor Wembanyama, I think is incredibly lacking, at least in this series. But this collapse by the San Antonio Spurs was one that was astronomical, the likes that we've never really seen before. And like I said, there was just so many blunders throughout this game. It wasn't just one thing, but I think more than anything, we've talked about the San Antonio Spurs in the regard of, one, they're incredible, but two, it's insane that they're this good and yet they have this lacking of experience. Some of their best players are either first year, second, or third year guys, where typically we have to see teams really take their lumps and have devastating playoff losses and series losses in order to build the character and experience to eventually win an NBA Finals. They are doing this. They've gotten to the NBA Finals and were in prime position to win it, at least at the beginning of the series, and they were doing it all off of young guys. It was unprecedented. But yesterday's collapse really showed you, okay, there's the lack of experience. There's the lack of know-how to. You cannot leave the inbounder unguarded, okay? That is like rule number one, AAU 10-year-old basketball. Don't leave the inbounder unguarded. Guard the inbounder. And then also, too, if you know that you're leaving the inbounder unguarded, don't just jump up with your hands in the air hoping that you get a rebound. Identify where the unguarded inbounder is coming from and box him out. If Dylan Harper did that as opposed to just flailing in the air, OG Anunoby wouldn't have had one of the better putbacks I've seen ever. So, an absolute class from San Antonio. The Knicks made their shots too. The Knicks took advantage of having an incredible crowd at Madison Square Garden. that helped them carry to a improbable and incredible comeback. We'll also talk about Joey Maguire, Brendan Sorsby, and Cody Campbell. Texas Tech keeps doubling down on their hypocrisy, stupidity, and just straight off ignorance. And so we will talk about more things that Joey Maguire and Cody Campbell said that were absolutely ridiculous. Also, too, there's a lot of CWS drinking guides, okay, out there where you should drink, how you should drink, what you should do, where you should go, what you should, bring cash, go to this bar, go to that bar. Look,
Cash?
I'm not a tourist, okay? I'm a drinker.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the guide.
A lot of
all
these
right?
people are doing guides, and it's like, here's a relatively famous person but also look at them. They've never had a drink in their life.
Look at me.
Matt has had a drink.
I look like I've had too many drinks in my life, is what Josh Hodson is saying. So I will give you my rundown, all right? The meat and potatoes rundown of how you should drink at the CWS. Not the, look at the sights and sounds.
This is a very Instagrammable bar, and you'll love it. They have a backdrop with neon fluorescent lights.
No, you walk into somewhere, you go, I'm a Matt McMaster guy.
I'm here to not be seen.
Yeah, I'm here to not do tourist stuff. I'm here to be wiped out. We will talk about that. But coming up next, we talk to Stephen M. Sipple of Husker Online and On 3 here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network. We welcome in one of our very good friends from Husker Online and On3. Stephen M. Sipple joins us here on Middays with Matt on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing fine, and you?
I'm doing great. We're less than 24 hours away from the College World Series. It's going to be a ton of fun at the Omaha Baseball Village, so we're looking forward to that over here at in Omaha.
Oh, you're not in studio.
No, we are in studio today. We will be not in studio for about the next week, a little bit under the next week. So that'll be a ton of fun.
Oh yeah, so you are in studio.
Yeah, in studio today. Out of studio tomorrow. Do you do a lot of remote out of studio shows in 93.7 The Ticket? Do you do that plenty?
We do enough of them, yeah. A year probably. I used to do them there a lot with Josh for the CWS. Not just Josh, but mainly Josh. And I always enjoyed those shows out there at the Village.
Yes.
We haven't done it lately because my schedule changed and whatever. But yeah, it's fun. I'm glad Omaha's probably hopping right now.
Yeah, it is. It is gonna start getting hopping today, so it'll be a ton of fun. And you're gonna make your way to a College World Series game? You're gonna make your way to the OBV? No. Okay, that was very quick and emphatic.
Yeah, no, I won't. I have some interest. I think the event is great, but I'm not. No, it's not really my gig.
Is it just you've done it plenty before? Like you've just experienced what you need to experience with it? It's a curious question. Because I think a lot of people feel the way you feel, Steve. Like I feel like there are a lot of local people or people in Nebraska who are kind of like, yeah, I did it. I don't really need to do it a whole lot anymore.
I'm just not a huge college baseball fan.
Yeah.
I don't follow it that closely. The event is great. I know it sounds a little contradictory. I think the event is great. I'm trying to compare it to something that I think is great. I think they probably have like a farmer's market in Omaha that's beautiful over there in near that old market, but I don't go to it.
Sure.
I'm sure it's beautiful, and I'm sure the vendors. I've been to it. I don't want to act like I haven't been to it. I have been to it. It's great, but I don't make a practice of going.
Sure. Do you go to the farmer's market at the Haymarket in Lincoln?
I don't. I've never been there. I don't know why.
You've never been to it?
No, never once. Never have been to. I've noticed it happening, but I never actually stepped into it.
That's incredible. You've lived in Lincoln for a very long time. You've never once just happened to be in the Haymarket from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on a Saturday?
No, I've been here for since 1986.
That's crazy. Do you know that? Do you know that is certifiably insane that you've lived there for 40 years and you've never once stumbled into the Haymarket farmer's market? Do you know that how crazy that is? That's an accomplishment.
I don't regard it as insane. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure. I think you would enjoy it. There's great lemonade, homemade root beer, some awesome vegetables you can buy. Great nutritional value.
There's nothing. You're not going to sell me there with lemonade and root beer. I suppose vegetables, and there's probably a lot of other things that would maybe get me there, but not lemonade and root beer.
I think those are the best things they have there, Steve. I mean, vegetables is never the reason I was there. I was never there for the vegetables. I was there for the burritos and the root beer.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody has little different cups of tea,
That is very true. That is very true. Which is why I love talking to you, because you have great. You have a very different cup of tea sometimes than other people. What did you think of the New York Knicks versus San Antonio Spurs game? You are a very big NBA man. How did you enjoy the comeback? Or was a part of your basketball purist mind a little disappointed in San Antonio's collapse? What did you make of that game?
That's a good way to put it. I was cheering for San Antonio. I wanted it to be 2-2. I really wanted it to be 2-2. And I did watch it in its entirety. I shouldn't say that. One of my grandkids will call me out. I started watching in the early second quarter. and I was like you probably, and there a lot of other people. My mouth was agape when San Antonio went up by 29. But you followed sports a long time. I told my grandson, one of them, this game's not over. It's just not. They'll make you know what's going to happen. You know New York's going to make a run. It's just a question of how deep will be the run and can they ultimately get over the top.
Yeah.
Now, when it was 90-75 going into the fourth quarter, and Mike Brown was interviewed by Lisa Salter, and he said some things, but the key thing he said, we just need a little, and we need a little luck.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if they can do this. So I wasn't overly surprised, but it was fun to watch, and it was really disappointing to watch the Spurs. Like, come on. I mean,
I hear you. I hear you.
I know what happens. You lose your edge, right? That's what they lost their edge. They start kind of playing weird. Lose patience and just cast one up.
Well, that was the biggest problem that I have with this whole thing, Steve. You're up 20 with 9 minutes to go, right?
Okay.
At that point, isn't this just a math problem, right? Like,
yeah.
You're up 20 with 9 to go. If you play at the right pace and you just make even a below average amount of baskets, you should get to the point where at the end of the game you're up about 5 or 6, right? With maybe a minute to go, as opposed to being in the position that they were in with how well the Knicks were shooting. They just started playing at the Knicks pace. Then there was a certain point where it's just like they started hoisting up these 3-point shots and taking the bet, the first best shot available, where it's like, no, man, like you're up 15 with about 6 to go. Slow down a little bit. Take your time.
It's tough. It's tricky. And I'm not suggesting that it was a poor coaching job. I think there was instant players making terrible decisions. De'Aaron Fox played poorly down the stretch, obviously. Didn't make great decisions. And not just on the breakaway layup either. That which was a really bad decision. And in the moment, I didn't think it was terrible. I thought, go up with that. But further contemplation, which we are allowed to have, is not pull it out, get fouled, make the free throws, and you're probably okay. But I thought Fox made a series of bad plays, or at least 3 or 4 terrible plays.
Yeah,
it collapsed. And again, I just go back to I just wanted it to be a 2-2 series, and I thought that would have been immensely interesting.
Yeah, that's a great point by you, because it just seemed like this was a series, especially in the third quarter when the Spurs are up by however many they were. You're like, all right, great. Hey, we get a tightly contested game 5 in San Antonio where the Knicks have been very comfortable in winning. And now it's like, I don't know. I think yesterday what showed more than ever was the Spurs inexperience. I think there were points throughout the playoffs where you're like, all right, you could tell that this is a super young team. It really showed yesterday. Yesterday.
Castle getting his 4th foul that early in the second half was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, as a young kid, he's 21 years old. He's 21, but what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing?
It's a great point.
Hurt him.
Now, it's almost like a double-edged sword, though, in a way where it's like maybe they're so young, they're naive to the fact that this series is now over, Like maybe they're just so young and they don't understand how these things work that they're going to come out in game 5 and they're going to be fired up and then convince themselves that they can force a game 7 when they go back to the Garden because of how well they played. Or they can turn up like the Cavs, where the Cavs blew a game in New York. Remember that? The Cavs blew game 1 in New York and had a similar collapse to the way the Spurs did, and the series was over. That was it. It was done.
Yeah, I don't sign off on that. I've seen it too many times in NBA playoffs where a team gets blown out and everybody's saying that, it's over. I mean, you can go back to the older guys listening, the older women listening can go back to Lakers, Celtics, when there were a few games like that. There were like ungodly blowouts. and that discussion happened where they'd be like, it's over. No, because then the team that got blown out comes back and wins. It's happened. And it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if the Spurs came back and made this a series.
To be fair, though, I wouldn't say that this is as much of a blowout as it is a collapse. And you will know, especially in 80s basketball.
Right, it's a collapse.
Right? Like the Pistons collapse in the 87 Western Conference Finals against the Celtics. I think that was game 6, where Isaiah just kind of blindly throws the ball and Bird steals it. And then he hits the shot, right? Was that 87? And they win that game. Yeah, they win that game of the Boston Garden. I mean, that was their opportunity. They collapse there. It's over, right? The Celtics win the series. You go back to 88, right? Lakers versus the Pistons. The Pistons with Isaiah on that bum ankle. That was their game 6 to win in LA, and they lose that game. They collapse in that game, then they end up losing game 7, right? So it's I think there's a difference between blowouts and collapses. And
I kind of mistook.
Yeah, no, but I think you're right in your analysis. Sometimes there's blowouts and we say the series is over and it's far from it. This one, though, is just a different type of just loss. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh,
that discussion that we have about young guys, and that the young guys, their immaturity, lack of experience shows that also that youth can work in your favor. They blow things off fast.
Sure. Sure.
And I think that could happen. I would not be surprised at all if San Antonio wins the next game. I would not be surprised.
Okay. What would because you've been watching the league longer than I've been alive.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds, in your opinion, that they are the second team to ever come back from 3-1?
At long odds.
Okay.
Winning the game, the next game, and winning the series, I'd give them about I'd say, be very random, 27%.
Okay. You know what? Yeah. I think Spurs fans would take that, Steve.
Yeah, they should. They should.
Let's talk a little Nebraska football.
Yeah.
This 2027 recruiting class, what just in general, the fact that they've put a lot of effort and they put a lot of resources into it, but what does it communicate to you about this Nebraska coaching staff?
Well, it shows a level of organization. It's a level of organization and a level of want to, because it's, by nature, recruiting demands a lot of want to, a lot of follow-up discussion, a lot of daily interaction, or if not daily, then just frequent interaction. It's a really impressive what they're doing. I don't mind saying it. It's not, we go down this road at Nebraska. We've gone down it a lot, but I tend to not do that whole thing where everything occurs in the context of history. I look at this, for what it is. I don't think it's I think you can do that. I look at it for what it is, and it's a real strong class. It starts with Trae, obviously, Trae Taylor. They got, it'd be really helpful if they could keep Pittman. I love Erickson. Erickson doesn't get talked about enough. Matt Erickson. The big behemoth. Is that how you say it?
Well, behemoth offensive tackle. Miller North man.
Yeah, he's a beauty. I saw him the other day at camp, and you understand, when you see a guy like Matt Erickson, you understand big time college football, because standing before you is a 6'7", 287-pound high school senior to be, and he's playing catch with his mom, and you notice he's super athletic.
Yeah.
He's just like a really athletic kid that happens to be 6'7", 287 or whatever he is. He probably weighs more than that now. I don't know what he weighs, but he's 6'7". And, I'm not terribly surprised, because his dad was super athletic. And his mom's probably athletic. She looked like it throwing the ball. So there's all that. And then, the latest additions are good. I like that. Oh, I can't pronounce his name. Errol.
Oh, Dermontauk? Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, now, he and the new kid that they got yesterday on the D-line, they don't blow you away necessarily on film. It's good. they just look like really tough future Big Ten defensive line guys that are active and play with a certain spirit and kind of a mean spirit in some ways. Demon Tagg is really heavy-handed, just a big heavy-handed guy. He's going to win a lot of those. Those guys have to play with their hands so much, and he's going to be good that way. So I like the. And why do I mention those guys? Because the D line has to catch up with the O line. The O line's ahead of the D line, present and future. What we're looking at. So they did a good job getting those two guys, Demon Tagnac and Nehemiah Umbody. I like them. I like those offensive linemen better.
Yeah,
but that's okay. I mean, that's fine. Jeep Wade's come in and made an immediate impression, and they're not done. That battle for those two guys, Kuhn and Barrett Cottrell, Ashland Greenwood, both those guys are looking at Nebraska and Iowa. That's a gigantic storyline this weekend.
Yeah.
You can't lose those guys. Now, I don't know if they want them. I don't know if they're going to take them both. That's the key. I don't know. But God, those guys look good on film, both of them.
So in 2023, they got 6 guys from Texas. In 2024, they got 5 guys from Florida. And we were talking about, the Texas to Nebraska pipeline and the Flow-Braska pipeline and all that type of stuff. And, they still have gotten guys from those states, but those pipelines maybe haven't come to fruition as the way that we were talking about them when it was first happening. This Georgia to Nebraska pipeline, do you think it's similar to the other two I mentioned, where it's kind of just 1 year where you get an influx of those players from that state? Or do you think that, with Jeep Wade's connections, formerly being the Georgia Tech offensive line coach, and also Addison Williams, his connections in that area of the country as well, do you think that pipeline, the Georgia to Nebraska pipeline, you think that has more staying power maybe than the Texas pipeline does or did?
I think the question is answered simply by who's available to you and what do you want. I don't know that it. I think maybe we do that. The media does this thing where we kind of want to create these storylines that maybe aren't there. It's just don't worry about it. They're going to get kids from somewhere, and this year Georgia's heavy. I don't know if Georgia will be heavy. How can we know if Georgia's going to be heavy in 2 years, because we don't know who they're going to be going after, who's looking at them, who they're looking at, how realistic is it? This year it happened to be they hit kind of a wellspring, right? I mean, they struck oil in Georgia, and I don't know, maybe next year it would be more Texas or Florida. I don't personally worry about it. I do like Southeast recruiting. I think the best football in America is played down there.
Yeah,
that's where you find the best D linemen for sure. Is now that's not where they got their guys, but if you're looking for the best D linemen in America, that's where you go, and it's hard to pull them out of that region for obvious reasons, because all those SEC teams get them. But I think I love it when they're down there and they do pull Georgia kids because they play football year round. They're putting pads on in the spring and playing, and that it's football country. So anytime you're pulling guys out of there, I do think it's good.
All right, Steve, we will let you go here. We appreciate you coming on Husker Online and On 3. You're the man. Appreciate you as always. We will talk to you soon, my friend.
God, your NBA knowledge impresses the hell out of me. Thank you for that, Matt.
Thank you for having a great conversation with me as always, Steve. And I know that I can always get brownie points with you when I bring up the 86 Celtics. I know that's the key to your heart.
Oh, it's not. I'm not too that way, but I appreciate that too.
I appreciate you, Steve. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
Yeah, by the way, so Jimmy the Greek goes, wow, that 80s NBA thing really sounded rehearsed. I know 80s basketball, all right? I'm sorry. I grew up with Mike McMaster.
Who had no mob connections.
No
run-ins.
Can I be real with you? My
Please.
dad, a lot like me, was never the guy, but he knows a guy who knew the guy.
Mhm.
I don't think my dad is that detached in terms of connections from the former Chicago mobs of the 80s. I mean, he would have been the perfect age to be involved in all that running around. To be fair, my grandparents were administrators in the Chicago public school system. So, if my dad was not allowed, like my dad definitely wasn't allowed to run around like that. Like, he grew up in a strict household, but he definitely knew people who did. I don't believe him.
Don't believe him.
I don't believe him. My dad was a hooligan.
Mm.
My dad was a kind of a crazier guy, and then he met my mother, and then that kind of just ended. That squashed everything. A tale as old as time.
My wife is listening, so I have no comment.
That's probably the path that I'm heading down right now. I might pull up a little bit sooner. Like, it took my dad until he was 30 to really get everything together. I think it'll happen maybe a year or two earlier for me. My mother she met my father when she was 23, 22, 23.
Okay.
Something like that. And that's what my brother did. My brother met his wife, got
idiot?
married. Yes, my loser brother met his wife when he was 18, got married when he was 25, and now has his first kid at the age of 28. Something like that. He took the path my mother took. I think I'm probably more predisposed to take the path my father did, which is run amok for 28 years and then realize this isn't fun anymore and then have a beautiful family.
Hell yeah.
That's the hope. That's the prayer. But no, I was a little, I don't get offended by comments. Okay, I don't. I have John who's hardened me, Like our number one listener, John, has really John is going to give himself credit here, and that's totally okay. His just consistent hate mail over the last 18 months has definitely just has hardened me in a way. Okay. And
he's providing a service.
He's calcified me.
Mm-hmm.
Were that comment from Jimmy the Greek about me rehearsing my 80s NBA knowledge offended? It's not rehearsed. John, here we go. Yep. We need a what to do guy from the guy who's lived in Omaha for the last 18 months. I mean, I've run around these bars like I've been here for 5 years, though. Like, let's be real. I have too much time. I think the fact that I just have an influx of time has made me has allowed me to discover more of the city than other people who have things they actually need to do. Pedro writes in.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for the cookies, Pedro.
Yeah. Thank you for the chocolate chunk cookies. Very nice of you. Hi, guys. With the World Cup here, you can get an international girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever think about that? There's all sorts of exotic women running around the Midwest right now.
Speaking about exotic women, it is a Thursday. It's This Week in Women's History.
Oh, yeah.
Today on Middays with Matt.
Should we give it a World Cup flavor?
Ooh. Oh, we only do women who have dated soccer players.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Feels like a tough putt.
In an hour and 20 minutes?
Maybe.
I think that's probably it. I should have warned about that. Just like I should have checked my email earlier this morning.
Yeah, you should have. You silly goose.
I checked it and then they emailed me. We'll see. We'll
50
see.
most iconic wags in football.
Wow. Okay.
It's not what this is about.
This might be easier than you think.
Maybe. We'll see.
Steve
writes provide
in,
something to the culture.
Someone posted after last night's game, San Antonio's new logo is the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
See that? Like, I would go ahead and be more cool with that if it was game 7 as opposed to it being game 4. But arguably that game might have ended up losing the San Antonio Spurs. In all likelihood, it ended up losing the San Antonio Spurs, the NBA Finals. Rob talks about my roommate, Dan, who wants to shoot a half-court shot.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Rob.
Dan's letter voiceover should be narrated by John Bishop. Go for the full effect.
Absolutely.
I would
Arena would pop.
I would absolutely love to make this a spectacle of my roommate living out his childhood dream of making a half-court shot at a Creighton Blue Jay basketball game. Real quick before we go to break here, our friend John has texted in once again.
Hello again, John.
Pedro, you can go online and get an international girlfriend anytime you want. I'll tell you this, John. Pedro's got a great wife who made us cookies.
A saint of a woman.
Yes, he doesn't need an international girlfriend. I might need an international girlfriend. I'm not going to be as so crass to say on the air, though, what nation I would prefer them from.
Please don't.
I will not. It's a very easy way to get canceled. I'll just...
Careful.
I'm being careful. I'm making good jokes while also not offending people. That's probably what I do best.
All right, I've scrolled through this list of 50.
Yeah,
There are only 3 people that would even be considered for
That's all we need. Are they? But
I feel like you know who Victoria Beckham, Shakira, and Becky G are.
Becky G, I do not.
She's a current singer.
Oh, I don't listen to music.
Clearly,
I listen to Chance the Rapper and Luke Combs. Those are like the 2 guys.
What an odd combination, but okay.
Well, one of them's an incredible singer, and one of them's from the area that I grew up in. I was going to say my hometown before John would have texted in and been like, Chance the Rapper's not from Skokie.
He's not famous.
No, famously not from Skokie. But, okay. Oh, hey, real quick. Placat writes in.
Hi, Placat.
Met Mrs. Odson yesterday. What a great lady taking care of her 2 children.
That's right.
Is she referring your child and you or your child and me?
I think it might actually be 3 Placat.
I was about to say, might be taking care of 3 children. All 3 of those children will be at the Omaha Baseball Village at some point this weekend. It'll be a very, very fun time. We encourage you to come and visit us at the OBV when we broadcast there starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Very excited for that. But until then, we trudge on here with Middays with Matt. Let's talk about Brendan Sorsby once again, everybody's favorite topic coming up next here. And then the odd news at 11:45 on Middays with Matt. Hey, we've read plenty of text today from the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, 402-951-1620, Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Play longer, win more. I made a Danhausen joke yesterday on Twitter, Josh Hodson, about the curse is working in the favor of the New York Knicks. Joe in Vegas tweeted at us at the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed of a nice little gif of Danhausen. So it's where, hey, I mean, this is how you make wrestling real. It's how you make people believe in the gimmick.
He's got real powers over real sports teams.
I mean, let's be real. He was wearing a New York Knicks jersey a couple of days ago, and all of a sudden they come back after being down 29 points to go ahead and win. They were down 20 points with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And
I am very aware.
San Antonio, what an absolute collapse. We'll talk about that at 12 o'clock. I'll detail everything to Josh Hodson as to
That's
what
when
happened.
I said I'm going to watch Minority Report on Turner Classic Movies because they got Steven Spielberg to do an interview. That's more interesting than this garbage.
You know, I've watched a couple director's cuts in my life, and I very much enjoyed them. I feel like I need to watch more director's cuts. I watched the director's cut of Star Trek, the new one with Chris Pine, with J.J. Abrams, breaking everything down. I didn't watch the second one where they just had some scenes where just clearly they wanted to show women in bras, which happened multiple times in the second movie, which was funny. But anyway.
Well, you know, they wanted people who are fans of Star Trek to see that for the first time.
Somebody has
this
written...
is a brassiere.
Somebody has written to us in the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally. They always pick on the first ring. Steve just broke down the Knicks Spurs game to me in a couple of paragraphs. I just want to read his subject line.
Okay.
The Alamo has fallen again was his subject line. Creative stuff there by Steve. Real quick, so let's talk about some Brendan Sorsby. We have some clips here on the wall talking about Joey McGuire and Cody Campbell. But before we get into that, so just a quick little detail here. So Ross Dellinger has done a phenomenal job through all of these court cases, whether it be Bediako or whether it be Trinidad Chambliss, and then including Brendan Sorsby. So today is an important date because on Tuesday, the Big 12 met. The athletic directors met on a call, okay? And basically on that call between Brett Yormark, the commissioner, and all the athletic directors of the Big 12, the ADs of the Big 12 voiced their concerns. And they voiced, you know, how they felt about the Brendan Sorsby situation. Today, the executive committee of the Big 12, which includes 3 presidents from Big 12 schools, will talk. And they will discuss potentially sanctioning Texas Tech themselves in this executive meeting, okay, between this executive committee. The Attorney General of Texas, the Honorable Ken Paxton, has released a statement. It's a long statement. I read it during the break. Basically, the key line is this. This is from Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of Texas. We are aware that the Big 12 is considering invoking bylaw 3.6 of the Big 12 bylaws to sanction Texas Tech for respecting the order and continuing its support of Mr. Sorsby as a student athlete. This letter serves to notify the Big 12 that any such action would be unlawful and would expose the conference to substantial liability. Basically, the rest of this statement is a threat to the Big 12, that if they do anything to Texas Tech, it would violate Big 12 bylaws and order, you know, that allow teams to be amended from unruly punishment. And so basically what the Attorney General of Texas is saying is, you go ahead and sanction Texas Tech, we're going to come after you in terms of suing you. And we're going to challenge your punishments against Texas Tech in a court of law. So basically now you have the state of Texas threatening the entirety of the Big 12, that if they were to punish Texas Tech for allowing Brendan Sorsby to play after he was granted his injunction a couple of days ago, that they would go through legal action. That is where we are in terms of this case.
I mean, wouldn't the Big 12 say, hey, buddy, you signed up to be a part of the Big 12. Like, we make the rules. You can go to hell.
Texas Tech just told the truth? Like an honest question.
Like, hey, we think we got a pretty good shot at like winning some football games this year. We'd kind of like to see that through.
What if they also just told the truth of like, hey, we paid this guy a lot of money and we don't really want to go through all the hoopla of trying to figure out how much money we can get back. And we definitely don't want to house this loss on the books. We definitely just don't want to be like, all right, we spent all this money on this quarterback who can't play.
That's the weird part to me, because they always talk about how much money they have, and like we got oil money. Screw it. Like, okay, write him a $5 million check and tell him to go away. Like,
but according to Joey McGuire, if you don't do the worst thing possible in our society, you shouldn't get punished.
Brendan Sorsby is recovering from an addiction. He's recovering. Like, I've sat down with this young man multiple times, and the things that he is going through and what he's been through is serious. As a society, we've been okay with other things that happens and allowing players to play, and this has been the one thing that has united people that we're against. You know, it's crazy because it's not murder, it's not beating somebody, or so there's a lot of things that we're working through.
There's a lot there.
How to make everything worse 101. Joey McGuire.
He didn't kill anyone.
Dude. So that's what we're going off of. If you don't beat anybody up, and if you don't kill anybody, you're good. You're fine.
You're fine.
You're okay.
You're good.
What type of leader of men, what type of human who prides himself on being able to help people and help young men develop establishes a principle that if you don't murder anybody, you're good? Like if you could do everything else, you can break every other rule, you could go against every other principle. It does not matter what the NCAA tells you what you can or cannot do. You can do all of that stuff. Just as long as you don't kill anybody, we're fine. That is crazy. What a crazy statement. What an insane statement. Where he's basically admitting, like, yeah, he did what he wasn't supposed to do, but at least it wasn't worse. What is that? No, when did we just, this whole situation to me, like, you could talk about the integrity thing. You could talk about, like, all these athletes are going to start gambling now. I think that's a little extreme. Okay. I think there's a certain line where it's like, all right, you don't have to worry that much about the integrity and stuff like that. Like, that stuff might figure it out. I'm more concerned about what happened to consequences in our society. What happened to establishing rules, and then when those people break those rules, they get punished? That is literally a core piece of humanity, that we establish things you cannot do. And now, because investments and because you want to win and because of the nature of college sports that we're in, we're just allowing everybody to do anything they want and they don't get punished. And you have people in high power like Joey McGuire, who is the head coach of a power conference team, supporting that notion that you can do things you're not supposed to do and not have punishment. That is crazy.
The absolute mental gymnastics and intellectual dishonesty from this group of absolute hicks who want a shot at their first winner in literally forever is astounding.
Oh, you want to hear an even more astounding statement?
Oh, God.
From a person who holds all the chips in this? Here's Cody Campbell for everybody. Just to dunk on just to prove everything that Josh Otson just said.
Oh, no.
It's because the college football world doesn't think that Texas Tech should be as good as we are. We've been a disruptor, just like Indiana has. And so we're a target, and we have been even before it even started. Now, the volume has gone way up, and a lot of it's been directed at me and at Coach McGuire and at, our university. But that's not fair. If this had happened at LSU, people would say, it's LSU, they're always going to kind of do what they do, and, they're going to keep playing. But it happened at Texas Tech, and, people don't want to compete with this. Of course, ADs in the Big 12 are saying crazy things, and saying they don't want to play us. Well, they don't want to play us because they know he's good and they don't want us to be as competitive. They want to have a better chance at winning the conference.
That was on the Don't At Me podcast with Dan Dakich. Can I, real quick, can we replay this part
It's
of
because
Dan
the college football world doesn't think that
moaning
Texas Tech
here?
should be as good as we are.
Listen to this.
We've been a disruptor, just like Indiana. And so we're a target, and we have been even before any of this started. Now, the volume's gone way up, and a lot of it.
The celebration!
It took me so out of the quote for like 5 seconds that I don't know what happened
It's
after
because the college football world doesn't think that Texas Tech should be as good as we are. We've been a disruptor, just like Indiana has.
We got to add that to grunt the sleep. Even Dan knows.
Just kind of an intriguing game.
Oh my God. It's so crazy to me that this guy's they're just so delusional. I mean, he doesn't even know what he's even saying. He's like, if LSU did this, nobody would care. No, you dumbass.
Oh no,
we all would care. We would care more than you.
Here's the thing that I don't think the rednecks realize. If LSU did this, they would get the death penalty because they've done so much other stuff walking up to this line that we'd just be like, no institutional control. You're dead. Sorry. Go away. You can't do sports anymore, Louisiana State. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't like you, not because you're good and not because you spend a lot of money and not because we're competitive. Honestly, up to this point, there are a lot of people in college sports that celebrated Texas Tech. There are a lot of people in sports who looked at Texas Tech and said, I want my university to be that.
Yeah.
I want my university to be able to spend all the money.
It was Indiana and them in a race.
Walls.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody was going after Texas Tech or mad at Texas Tech. Honestly, it was quite the opposite. Josh Peterson is somebody who I hold in very high regard.
He's fine.
He was a Texas Tech honk because of the principle that, hey, they have money and they were willing to be competitive and break down the traditional walls of college football in order to do that, utilizing NIL. Texas Tech was presenting themselves as a pioneer of this era. And over the last 4 months, they have presented themselves as the villain of this era because they are so delusional and hypocritical and not willing to admit their mistakes. And instead of being honest and admitting their mistakes and doing the right thing and saying, all right, hey, we're not going to allow this to go any further. The kid made a mistake. He's not going to play. They have now continued to back themselves in the corners with ridiculous statements such as, he didn't kill anybody, and if somebody else did this, you wouldn't care. That's not, the first principle is insane. Consequences deserve actions. Regardless, if you're just breaking rules, you need to have consequences. And secondly, we'd give more of a crap if LSU did this instead of your sorry-ass program. All these guys need to shut up. Everybody shut up. That's what Texas Tech needs to do. Shut up. Because this last week, it's just blabbering it from Lubbock, and all it's doing is damaging college sports and making people dislike this crap. I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of them. Those two statements were the last straw from those idiots. I hope they lose every single game this year. I do, because the hoopla and the BS they're putting college sports through right now is insane. I could keep going on. We have to take a break. We'll do a quick segment. We'll do odd news at 12 o'clock here on Middays with Matt.
Good luck with that, Dan.
It's because the college football world doesn't think that Texas Tech should be as good as we are. We've been a disruptor, just like Indiana has. And so we're a target, and we have been.
Really?
Just very distracting.
It's awesome. That was the Don't At With Me podcast with Cody Campbell and Dan Dackage. We have cut that down, by the way. We have cut down the Dan's.
We'll get it.
We have it. Put it on the board at some point. That was incredible. Cody Campbell and Joe McGuire. Has there been people? I mean, Cody Campbell was already unlikable, but and Texas Tech was bordering I would say they've definitely. This has not just been over the last week. They became incredibly unlikable. Like they have been trending this way, especially with the whole like college sport clearinghouse and the $40-50 million rosters. And if everybody's following the rules and like they've been kind of a part of the, if you were to point at people who potentially might be doing some shady things when it comes to acquiring players, like Texas Tech probably would have been around that list of like teams that, I wonder what's going on there. But this has definitely just put the nail in the coffin. The World Cup begins today. Mexico takes on South Africa.
That's right.
2:00 on Fox. South Africa, a plus 700 underdog to defeat Mexico. They are playing in Mexico City at Estadio Azteca is where they're playing. And then there's a second game tonight between South Korea and Czechia. And I'm looking here on my CBS Sports app, which I love so dearly. And it says it's, on Fox 1 tonight, Thursday, 9 p.m. And the location is Estadio Akron.
Akron?
Are they just playing in Akron, Ohio? Are they playing on the little like backyard pitch, Czechia and Korea? South Korea? In Akron? Why is it Estadio Akron, all caps?
Estadio.
Where are they playing? We got to find this out. I'm just very confused. But the World Cup begins today. It's one of the best background sports, in my opinion. Just put on a soccer game, not really pay attention, see it going on in the background. And then every once in a while, you'll see action going on. You're like, oh, they might actually score a goal, and then they don't. Or there's a handball, a free kick is coming. So World Cup begins today. I'm pretty excited to have that type of sport on over the next couple of weeks. Should be fun. All right, let's hit a break and do the odd news with Josh Hudson here on Middays with Matt. It is media day when it comes to the College World Series today. Open practices started a couple of hours ago. West Virginia was the first to get going. They began at 9:10 a.m., followed up by Troy, North Carolina. And around this time, Ole Miss, the Rebels, who won the Lincoln Regional and then eventually won the Auburn Super Regional, will get going in the next couple of minutes here for open practice at the College World Series, and then we'll be having plenty of media availability after that. There's also the Fan Fest that is going on from 12 to 4 p.m. We will be at the Omaha Baseball Village starting tomorrow at around 10 o'clock. Mike Schaefer will be here in the morning. He will is he hosting with Connor? I'm sorry, I don't know the morning show schedule. Is he going to be with Happer or no?
I believe it'll be Michael Severe tomorrow.
And it'll be Michael Severe tomorrow with Mike Schaefer. And then I'm, wouldn't be surprised at all if Severe makes his way down to the OBV, maybe get an interview with Mike at some point tomorrow.
That'd
but
be a
he
good
will
get.
be on our airwaves in the morning at 16:20, and then Josh and I will kick off the OBV show at 10 o'clock, and then Mike will join us just a little bit later. We have some great guests lined up for you today. We also we might have a very big guest coming on at some point this weekend with someone who is participating in the College World Series. So we'll see if we can get that together. That'd be a great get for us and great get for the OBV, but very excited to be broadcasting those games for you. Every game here on 1620 The Zone, and then also entertaining you in between the games before the first game at 1 o'clock and then in between the first game and the second game. So it should be a ton of fun. Let's talk some odd stuff going around in the country.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
J.O., what we got? We have a Florida story.
I don't think we do today.
Do we have an Ohio story?
No. Well,
whoa.
Hold on.
Like Kentucky? Some people are saying Kentucky is Ohio.
Good question. I do have a Florida story. I apologize.
Okay. All right. Here we go. You ready?
Ready.
I can get this one.
Today's the day.
We'll do mail. We will do department store. We will do staying overnight in that department store. A Florida man was caught after he stayed 19 consecutive nights inside a Walmart. A local authorities say that 32-year-old John Hansen had been spending his nights in the 33rd aisle of the Supercenter in Tallahassee, Florida, before he was eventually caught after he knocked over a splash park that notified employees that he had been sleeping in the aquatic section of the Walmart. That's my prediction.
I think you're actually just reciting the plot of that Channing Tatum movie.
Oh, no.
Man.
I actually wasn't. I wasn't. I was literally ad-libbing. I swear to you. Just like that guy thought I had a rehearsed 80s basketball segment. I did not rehearse my Florida man segment. Am I incorrect? I'm guessing I'm wildly incorrect.
You are wildly incorrect. You got the word store correct.
Oh, but is it like a female as opposed to a man?
It is a female, yes.
Dang it. PC
I don't
goes,
wanna...
did Matt just castaway himself?
The banana chip bandit has finally been apprehended. Thank the Lord.
I'm sorry. The what?
The banana chip bandit.
That was a really bad point to take a sip there. I almost spit my Diet Coke. The banana chip bandit.
A bizarre crime spree ended last night with the arrest of a 59-year-old Florida woman for the theft of about $300 worth of banana chips from a supermarket. Cops allege that Annette Nichols has repeatedly swiped the banana chips from a Publix near her Vero Beach residence.
Clearly, they were worth more than a dime.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Over Mike.
Where's the bang? Where's Mike banging?
I don't know. He's in there somewhere. Same place he's always been.
Continue.
He wanted the shot. He wanted Brunson's shot to go in last night.
Oh, so bad.
He was gonna
triple
bang
out of that.
Yep. Over the past few weeks, Nichols has been coming into the store and stealing the same one piece of merchandise off the shelves. The item in question is a $6.49 bag of banana chips. The Publix deli manager told cops that Nichols has stolen banana chips on 6 separate occasions.
Wow. Let me tell you this now. Don't mess with Publix. All right. But I respect Publix. Publix and Al Capone, same thing. I won't step on their toes.
When confronted by police, Nichols reportedly confessed to the banana chip thefts and said she didn't know why she steals something so stupid. That's her words, adding, quote, "It's not worth going to jail over and losing her job." Well,
what happened?
The police searched her car and found 13 bags of banana chips. Some were stolen earlier in the week from the Vero Beach Publix.
How do you not get rid of the contraband?
Yeah. $150 bond on the misdemeanor theft charge. She was convicted in 2024 of retail theft for skipping scanning items at a Walmart in Vero Beach. I'll scan one, put the other one in the bag, scan one, put the other one in the bag. Sure,
Talk about the definition of petty crime, of petty theft.
They list Nichols' occupation as accounting, and look, not making fun of the number I'm about to read, making fun of the 2 very different numbers I'm about to read, okay? Want to be crystal clear on what we're making fun of. A lot of new listeners here with the College World Series in town. The documents alternatively put her weight at either 348 pounds or 220 pounds.
That's a wide range.
Those are different numbers. I don't care. Weigh whatever you want to weigh. Those are different numbers.
It was one in ounces and the other one was in grams.
Is one a typo and the one of the 3s is supposed to be a 2?
By the way, how can we have a variance that wide? I feel like you can't just hide 120 pounds.
If you could, I would.
Here's my defense for what is it? Yvette Nichols. What's her name?
That sounds right. And Annette Nichols.
Annette Nichols. Look, fine people of the jury, Honorable Ken Curry of Texas, my client, Annette Nichols, yes, did she steal $300 worth of banana chips? She did. But she didn't murder anybody.
She didn't murder anybody.
She didn't kill anybody. So, as the honorable lawyer I am, and my name being Joey Maguire, okay, because my client did not kill anybody, I think she's okay. I think she's good to go. She doesn't need any consequences. You know what? There's a part of me. You shouldn't. I'm not advocating for theft or thievery, right? But like, there's something a little bit endearing about only stealing banana chips. Like that being the only
just
item
something so
that she loves so much.
Yeah.
But she's not willing to pay $6.50 for.
It's a little steep.
By the way, $6.50 is pretty steep for the banana chips. How hard is it to make a banana chip? Like that margin has to be super wide.
You got to just dry them out, right? What she needs to do is steal a food dehydrator.
This
right?
is, you know what? Isn't this the next path that Connor Happer should take? Connor Happer should buy a fruit dehydrator.
Actually, now that you mention that, I think he has talked about owning a fruit dehydrator before. Like he had one and he's like, I don't know what the hell to do with this thing.
Or a juicer.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth goes, I need to stop talking during your odd news. You just pick so many good stories that I can't stop freaking out during them. She's stealing $300 worth of banana chips.
Yes.
When you said that she had a previous rap sheet, I was like, what was she stealing? Blueberry Skittles? What other weird $3 item has she stolen $700 worth?
The final 2 stories in the odd news today center around the New York Knickerbockers.
Oh, go ahead.
A 2020 yearbook has surfaced from the state of New York, where a Where's the guy's name? Lead with the name, people. I'm trying to sum it up for you. Evan. Okay. We'll try this name. Evan, I found out why I wasn't in here. Evan Pfeiffer.
Okay, cool.
Pfeuffer. Pfeiffer. He wrote in his 2020 high school yearbook, Knicks in 6, 2026 NBA Finals.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah. A lot of people have found this yearbook post on, appears to be very popular on the gram, as the kids say. And with the Knicks having a 3-1 lead, it is circulating like wildfire as Evan Pfeiffer tries to hit the mark. Knicks would have to drop a game between now and game 6, but
wait, say that again. Evan what?
Evan Pfeiffer.
Good for him. I'd be more impressed if it like Knicks at 6 over San Antonio.
Oh,
like,
okay.
If it was
Both teams.
more
Sure.
specific,
Mhm.
you know. But to say it in 2020, like who was on the team back in
2020? 2020 New York Knicks.
Emmanuel Mudiay,
Okay. We got this. Pulling it up. It's loading.
Frank Ntilikina,
R.J. Barrett, Taj Gibson, Nerlens Noel,
Derrick Rose had to be on that team then.
Emmanuel Quickly, Julius Randle, Derrick Rose. There he is. Obi Toppin. Who's a rookie.
He was a rookie. I think Thibodeau hated him. Like Thibodeau barely even played him, like 4 minutes a game. Which that was a quote from Clyde Frazier the other day, who was like, the reason why the Knicks number 1 was because Thibodeau didn't want to develop his bench. And then Mike Brown has done that. And they have plenty of guys that can play off the bench. That's the one shot that will go underrated, the Jose Alvarado shot.
You mentioned Clyde Frazier.
Yeah.
The 81-year-old basketball Hall of Famer is getting a lot of heat on the internet now as a video of him. Okay, the video was posted. Okay, this is from last night. Okay. Of him eating French fries has gone viral.
Okay.
Because, and I'll try and do this for the radio and the podcast audience, he eats them like chicken wings, where he holds both sides of the French fry, and now not like a corn on the cob, where it's like a typewriter motion, like a chicken wing. Like, okay, I'll take a bite from the left here, chew that, put it down, pick it back up, and chew the right side of the fry. Not biting all the way through the fry.
Oh no! Like
Biting
he's taking off the skin.
Yeah, like the side of the French fry,
That's
a
disgusting.
chicken wing.
That's disgusting. Why? Why are there so many people who are famous that just do weird things? You know what I'm saying? Okay, hot take. Not hot take, just a regular take. Famous people are weirdos. It's just famous people are weird. They just have too much time and too much money, and they just want to be a contrarian to be a contrarian.
This people saw this from earlier in the week, and they said, "Oh, I also have a video of Frazier eating fries like a weirdo." Someone posted him having a cup of French fries and 2 hands on the cup, like it's a warm cup of tea on a cold winter's morn, pulling fries out of the cup with his teeth. like a child would.
Like a child would when they're born.
Yeah.
You did that where you just used to bite the cup. You just absolutely massacre the cup because you were teething, but you didn't know what teething was.
I mean, he's 81 years old, but he's in great shape. So, I mean, maybe there's something to just eating things slowly, and, your belly will naturally get fuller.
Good point. Maybe you do the Betty White thing where you have a hot dog and a vodka soda every night before you go to bed.
Betty White. We were a better country with her.
Oh, we were. I got to watch that Hulk Hogan documentary.
Just curious. I want to know how your mind works. How'd you get from A to B there?
You just talked about an
Dead
old person who died, who was very notable years and years and years ago.
Okay.
And just Betty White.
Both were very popular in the 80s. Both are dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, hey, he's talking about Betty White.
I don't care how you got there. I'm not gonna make fun of you like Connor or Mike would. I just want to know your thought process.
We were a better country in the 80s when Hulk Hogan was around, and then very quickly Hulk Hogan being around did not make us a better country. There definitely was a bell curve in terms of Hulk
Yeah,
Hogan's
yeah.
greatness and in continuity with how great America was.
Mhm. Now that's the documentary I'd watch.
Yes. I'm just a big bell curve guy.
You a big bell curve guy.
I love a bell curve, you know? I just love of seeing when like there's no more like positive increase anymore. When it's like when we start getting into the law of diminishing returns. It's probably one of my favorite laws. That and you shouldn't be able to kill people.
I mean, Brendan Sorsby's famously not killed anyone.
I'm not going to get off of that. I cannot believe that Joey Maguire stood in front. And by the way, so he said this at like one of those donor lunches, which by the way, over the last couple of months here, those little donor lunches where they're just speaking and for whatever reason they think they're in a private domicile.
They think it's in a private room. Like we all got phones. Like you know this. Us rubes have phones and we'll record everything you're saying.
Dude, like that has been some of the juiciest material we've been getting this offseason is when you go ahead and like you think you're in a private area and nobody is like paying attention to you and it comes out like, oh no, this guy said this at this luncheon at this church.
Oh, I'm just at the Lubbock Lions Club. I'm amongst friends. I can say whatever I want.
Did you make that up? The Lubbock Lions Club?
No.
Well,
I mean, yes, I did.
Okay.
Lions clubs are a real thing, but
I don't know what a Lions club.
It's just a men's group.
Pedro goes, "Hi guys."
Hi Pedro.
Those two names should never be said together. Viva Betty White. I think we got a little nervous there when he said Viva. Which name was he going to Viva there, Pedro?
Everybody's a little bit nervous.
Brian from Bellevue.
I gotta find that. I know it's in there somewhere.
Josh said the Knicks would have to drop a game. Do you mean sorbet a game?
Maybe I do. Maybe.
Yeah, what's been going on with the morning show and sorbet?
I love it. I don't know the origin of it, but
I haven't really been keeping up with Happer and Schaefer this week. We have been, like it's been very busy this week. We were at Warner Park. We're getting ready for the College World Series, the Omaha Baseball Village. Like I have been able to tune in as much as I would prefer to, but then on the Twitter, just every other tweet is sorbet.
Very popular.
And is it just Connor just said his last name wrong, I think, and that's like just what it turned into.
I'm
and now
guessing
all
that's
of a
the
sudden,
origin point.
We have Brendan Sorsby's face on a bunch of sorbets.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can't even tell you the last time I had it. Like, have you ever been to a restaurant and you go, I'm really hankering for the sorbet tonight?
Never a hankering. I do like to when the family goes and gets ice cream. I do like a little sample of sorbet. Very refreshing.
We need more sherbet around. I've never had a sherbet and was disappointed. An orange sherbet, a strawberry sherbet, a rainbow sherbet, even a vanilla sherbet. I love a vanilla sherbet. I'll take a sherbet over a sorbet any day of the week. Some of the greatest creations that we've had in America have spawned from an orange sherbet. The Orange Julius.
Okay, I'm going to need you to explain yourself there.
The Orange Julius at Dairy Queen is one of our finest American traditions. It is orange sherbet. And that's where it really came from.
One of America's greatest.
One of America's greatest institutions is the Orange Julius.
So is it like the bomb?
That's what you go to.
What,
you're thinking of America's
the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and orange sherbet.
Yes, the Orange Julius in particular.
The Orange Julius. Okay.
Power rankings with tiers. Things that are the most American. I would put Orange Julius A.
Bomb pop, rocket pop, red, white, and blue popsicle, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, were you saying the bomb as in like bombs, or were you saying the bomb as in bomb pops?
The first time I said bomb, I meant the bomb.
The bomb, like the Oppenheimer bomb.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, cool. Okay. And then now it's bomb.
Well, yeah, because that's a very American. American. We're just doing word association on it.
Yeah, the Choco Taco's got to be up there, right?
For American?
But that's why I think it's American, because a very American thing is let's take another country's traditional things that they make in their culture and then let's Americanize
like blues.
Yes.
Like rock and roll. No, I think you're actually pretty spot on.
Or
there.
hamburgers.
Choco Taco is a very white people
1,000,000%
way to name something.
Yes.
Yes.
How can we take a taco and make it American? Let's just stuff it with a bunch of vanilla ice cream and coat it in chocolate.
I don't want this to sound too ethnic. We better call it a Choco Taco.
What's even the Choco? I guess the Choco is the
chocolate.
Yeah. But it's not chocolate ice cream in it, right? It's vanilla ice cream in it.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I've never had a Choco Taco. I always got the SpongeBob popsicle.
It is. It is vanilla. There's a small chocolate swirl in there.
Yeah, I would get the. I don't even know what flavor the SpongeBob popsicle was. All I knew was that SpongeBob would come out looking not like SpongeBob.
His face had clearly been melted and refrozen.
1,000,000%, multiple times over. To the point, though, I was always fired up, though, for the blueberry pieces of gum that was his eyes. That was great.
Same, but mine was a
You know what?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or Batman.
Yeah, well,
depending on the truck.
Was it depending on which Mutant Ninja Turtle that you would be eating? Where if it was Donnie, would you say, no, I don't want TMNT today?
Didn't care.
Okay. I will say
I imagine it was only Raph that they had.
I will say that, the enjoyment of the American experience and maybe its potential decline has definitely coincided with the less and less ice cream trucks we see. I feel like the America was great when we had more ice cream trucks. I mean, that was the peak childhood experience.
Generally, I agree with you.
That was the peak childhood experience. When you were in your house and you were just hanging out and you were sipping on a Sprite playing like the Nintendo Wii. You were dueling your brother in Wii Sport Resort.
And
all of a sudden, just in the background here, and you go, start looking around. You're like, you can't.
I need $1. Where's the dollar? I need $1.
But here's the beauty. You're like, you can't see the truck. You just hear,
and then you got to make the decision depending on what kind of neighborhood you live in. Like, okay, do I try and find the truck or do I stop right at the driveway and hope it comes to me?
Yeah. And you run out and you're like, you can't, where is it? And all you hear is, it's getting close. And then now the problem is though, you forgot the cash inside. So then you got to grab your mom. You're screaming in the house. You don't know if the ice cream truck is going to stop. It was always a game. Kids' version of roulette was really just whether or not the ice cream truck was going to stop at your corner and whether or not you had enough money to go ahead and place some bets or get your Choco Taco. Hokey Stir goes, Matt, you child. It was a Nintendo 64. I can't relate to some of the parts of this audience. I'm sorry.
You did say a lot of things in that childhood story when I went, oh, yeah, you're young.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's your childhood is your childhood.
Is my broadcasting career going to be so much better if I lie to you and say that, oh, you remember when you were playing the Atari growing up? I didn't even know what an Atari was until I saw Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, what a film.
They're talking about an Atari. I go, what the hell's an Atari? And then I really found out what it was during the CeeLo Green song, FU. She's in Xbox, and I'm more like an Atari. And I was like, what the hell's an Atari?
I'm glad you got there. It doesn't matter how you got there. You learned. You were willing to learn, and that's half the battle.
See, Greg from Hastings goes, once again, Matt McWrong is wrong. See, that's not creative, by the way. Matt McWrong is a bad one.
We can do better than that, but
I think still my favorite has got to be McDingling.
Definitely.
Which only Ghost Dog refers to me as.
Everyone else join in.
See, if everybody else does, it's something about when Ghost Dog does it. Don't you agree? That individual saying it kind of hits more.
I don't want to give Ghost Dog more credit than he needs to.
Good point.
Because he has a swelled head, and deservedly so. He's done some great things in his life, but him giving you a nickname, oh man, it feels great.
You were waiting for it. You were like, I remember
it came pretty quick for me because, well, I mean, it's me.
You're so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that was my welcoming into Nebraska media when when
In a lot of ways, yes, I
when
do.
When Ghost Dog gave me a nickname, that was like
like,
I'm a made man.
Okay, you're good.
That was like Goodfellas. It's like I'm getting made, and then you're given a nickname by Ghost Dog.
And you haven't seen Goodfellas, right?
I have, yeah.
You have seen Goodfellas.
Yeah. Tony D times.
Okay, so you know.
We've talked about this before.
You know that he didn't get made.
Yes, he got shot in the back of the head.
Yes.
I liked the first hour of Goodfellas, and then the second hour is because Henry Hill being a crackhead.
Yeah.
And just doing cocaine and cheating on his wife and having a separate apartment, and then like that's 45 minutes, and then finally, who's the guy that gets killed? Joe Pesci's character, forget his name. Then he dies, and then it gets really interesting. And then De Niro's character tries killing Henry Hill's wife. That was a very intense scene. Very, very. Intense. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's take a break here. And I'm going to tell Josh Hodson what happened in the New York Knicks San Antonio Spurs.
Finally, I can't wait to learn.
He has not known what has happened yet. We have been waiting hours.
I know the Knicks won. I know there was a comeback. I turned the game off at the start of the fourth quarter, that 10-minute mark where it was like, okay, I'm done with this. I got other things to do. Boy, really regret that.
Somebody just found out who Ghost Dog is. They're like, I've only ever heard one person refer to you as that. And that was this person. Is he Ghost Dog? In due time, we will find out. Let's do that. And then This Week in Women's History coming up at 12:45 here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network. Say This Week in Women's History Thursday. We will get to that in about 13 minutes. But before we do, we have to explain to Josh Hodgson everything that happened when it came to the collapse of the San Antonio Spurs. And so in doing so, we bring on a special guest to help me explain to Josh the collapse of all collapses, the 29-point lead that turned into a Game 4 loss for the Spurs as they now trail the New York Knicks 3-1 in the NBA Finals. Jacob Bigelow joins the show to help explain to Josh Hodgson the awful basketball and probably even worse coaching that took place last night at MSG. Jacob, where should we start in explaining to Josh Hodgson how all of this, how this massive calamity happened for the people who play by a dirty little creek?
That is a great question. There has arguably never been a more beautiful disaster that I've witnessed play out than that fourth quarter of basketball. I mean, we could start with just the Spurs missing all the threes they took. That's a key.
They made so many in the first quarter.
They went 3 of 17 in the second half when it came to shooting the 3-point ball.
We could go with Mike Brown finally deciding that there needed to be multiple ball handlers on the court to close the game, closing with Alvarado and Brunson on the court together instead of Brunson just being the only guy on the court for New York who can dribble the ball.
Great point.
That was, we'll give some coaching credit there.
Mike Brown discovering that Jalen Brunson versus Victor Wembanyama one-on-one is actually a better matchup for him than I think he first anticipated too. I think you'd have to add that into the things that Mike Brown discovered last night.
That is on the list. The flip side of that is Mitch Johnson just forgetting that timeouts exist. When basically like a Hollywood movie is playing out in front of you, like the New York crowd is erupting, the most famous building in the sport is coming to life. The Knicks are on an unprecedented run. There may be, you may want to like try to stop the momentum in some way, shape, or form. Every coach has these timeouts, and Mitch Johnson just refused to use any of it.
So here's my favorite stat of this game. So with 8 minutes and 43 seconds left, Josh Hodgson.
Okay.
The San Antonio Spurs were up 15 points in the game. All right. Let's write that down. 8 minutes and 43 seconds left. They were up 15 points in the game. For the next 4 minutes and 10 seconds, the San Antonio Spurs played basketball with the New York Knicks. In 4 minutes and 10 seconds, the New York Knicks turned the score from a 95-80 deficit to then it being 99-95 before San Antonio took their next timeout. Over 4 minutes and 10 seconds, the Spurs took a 14-4 run to the bank, and the Spurs did not use one timeout during it. They did not use one timeout until they finally cut the lead to 4. Incredible stuff. And then here's the funny thing, Jacob. That's when things got interesting.
Oh yeah. De'Aaron Fox. I could not imagine being De'Aaron Fox this morning. Having the run out after making a good defensive play, but then you have the run out at the other end with I think like 12 seconds left in the game, and instead of trying to like dribble it out or get fouled, you just are like, I'm going to the rim, and you smoke a layup, which him smoking that layup is going to make everyone forget about the Josh Hart missed layup just before that.
I've seen these rumblings that Josh Hart is very lucky that Fox is a bigger idiot than him.
Josh Hart goes up so he steals the ball. It would have been a layup to take a 2-point lead, Josh. Okay. It would the place would have gone insane. And he's running to the basket, and it was Dylan Harper, correct, behind him, Jacob?
Yes.
And so he knows that Harper's kind of there, and he doesn't know if he wants to play the game of like, am I going to try and like back lean into Harper to get an and one, or am I going to go up strong and actually make a layup? And Harper does this kind of drive-by thing where like he floats his hand by Hart's back, but he pulls it away. So then Hart saw that like out of the corner of his eye and kind of like he like gyrated midair, and he just clanked the ball off the back of the rim. So as opposed to having a layup that would have given New York the lead, he just smokes a layup that then allows San Antonio to grab the ball back and have all the momentum. It then preceded some bad possessions by New York because they were just so stunned that Hart completely missed a layup.
Yeah, and I mean, on the end of the game sequence last night, I tweeted this. Always guard the inbounder. That's how OG ends up with. He's not getting boxed out. No one is guarding the pass because they just expect. Leckler said it on the broadcast. They just expect it to be 1-4 flat for Brunson. And instead of trying to create a mid-range or even try to go down to the rim, he just pulls. Like he gets it. Like takes a couple dribbles and pulls. An atrocious shot, and no one boxes out OG, so he's there for the tip in. Always guard the inbounder. That's one of the biggest rules in late game situations. And then also, like, if not for Cat's fingers, Castle is wide open. And if the pass gets over Cat, like he probably catches, puts it up, and who knows how it ends. So Karl Anthony Towns' fingertips getting in the way of that pass saved New York from an all-time heartbreaker. So that end of game was insane. The entire game was crazy. And it felt like, there's all sorts of cliches with MSG and, you could feel it and everything, but that was the confluence of all the New York basketball things you hear about the crowd and the building and the energy and everything. It reached a crescendo with the absurdity that was that basketball game last night.
Oh, yeah. By the way, the thing that we did forget to mention in all of that, Josh Hodson, is that Victor Wembanyama had 2 free throws with 1:45.
I saw the Shaq comparisons.
To take a 3-point lead, and he missed both free throws. In order to really kind of give themselves a bit of a cushion in the late game situation.
I defer to the ball knowers on this when I ask this question. So the Spurs in the second half are not hitting any 3-pointers. Why not just lob it into the guy who is quite literally 7.5 feet tall and get a dunk to stop the bleeding?
Can I take this one, Bigelow?
You can, yes.
Yeah, he's soft.
Okay.
My biggest thing with the Spurs is that the lack of, there's a lot of talk about their guards and whether it's the young guys in Castle and Harper or Fox, who until last night he'd been bad in this series, and then he had just, an all-time blunder, is the lack of 2-man game that anyone plays with Wemby. Yeah. There's no 2-man game with any of those guys. All of those guards are eerily similar archetypes, just different ages. And that's no slight. I think Castle's going to be really good. I think Harper's going to have a really long career. But to have that guy on your roster and there is no 2-man game going on, there's hardly any pick and roll, hardly any lob, anything like that. That's pretty baffling to me. And then, until that fourth quarter last night, you could argue that the Knicks hadn't really played a complete game.
No.
They've been pretty bad, in the entire series overall, shooting wise, whether it's Brunson splits or just, the Knicks in general, the vibes have been pretty bad. The games have been fun. They've been competitive, but the aesthetic of it has been kind of rough when you look at the numbers, but the series has been fun. It's been baffling in more ways than one, but this has been a great series. And I'm really looking forward to Game 5 on Saturday night. I thought Knicks in 6 from the beginning, and I think it's only right for NBA entertainment to get the scripted ending of the Knicks winning it at MSG in Game 6.
Biggs, thank you so much for calling. We appreciate it greatly.
Of course, brother. Anytime. I'm sure I'll see you these next few days down at the College World Series. Enjoy yourselves and have a good rest of the show, fellas.
See you, Jacob. It was really the combination of all of some of the greatest collapses that we've seen in sports. The De'Aaron Fox taking the layup as opposed to dribbling out the ball and taking the foul and making the 2 free throws is almost like J.R. Smith in Game 1 of the 2018 NBA Finals, where he doesn't know really what the score is or what the situation is. The Victor Wembanyama free throws with 2 minutes left to go to give yourself a 3-point lead and a bit of a cushion that they ended up needing those points. I mean, he didn't miss 4 free throws, but I mean, that was a free throw collapse similar to Nick Anderson. The 3 of 17 second half performance from the 3-point line for the San Antonio Spurs. You can chalk that up to the 0-27 Houston Rockets in game 7 against the Golden State Warriors. And then, I mean, Mitch Johnson looked like Marvin Ham with his just refusal to use any sort of timeouts to break up momentum in terms of the long runs that they were going on. If we're taking away anything from the Spurs collapse yesterday, it is the inexperience of that entire roster and their head coach showed greatly. That looked like a team that frankly hadn't been there before. And they have been able to win games, and their youth has proven to be a strength for them throughout this entirety of the playoff. They were white knuckling that end of the game situation, and they ended up collapsing.
I keep hearing you guys explain this, and first of all, my first reaction is, God, I turned it off like an idiot. And second of all, the term malpractice keeps coming up into my brain and ping-ponging around in there. I'm like, this is malpractice on the players, malpractice on the coach.
Real quick before we hit a break, I did something and I became the very thing I swore to destroy. I was talking to a buddy, and he was mentioning Victor Wembanyama and LeBron James, and in a trance, I looked at him and I went, he's not LeBron James. He's not LeBron. And I was like, oh my God, I have been the guy that has been complaining about all these old people being like, you're not Michael Jordan and you never will be. And for the first time in my life, I did that with LeBron. I looked at Victor. He was like, well, Victor Wembanyama, LeBron just like, he's not LeBron. He's not LeBron. I was like, oh my God, I'm a hypocrite.
Father Time is undefeated.
So is Joey McGuire. All right, let's hit a break and talk about this week in women's history here on Middays with Matt. All right, let's have some fun on this Thursday at 12:45. For the last couple of months at this point, Josh Hodson has been educating me and maybe the younger listeners out there who may not have known women across the decades, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, who have impacted our society so greatly. And so he introduces them to me every single week to educate this young whippersnapper that you're listening to on the 1620 Zone Radio Network. So Josh Hodson, who is our first woman through the decade?
It's a service we provide here. Happy to do it.
Yes, you are more than happy, it seems like at times.
We'll start with Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler. I love it. Anyone named Olivia, you know? Never met a bad person named Olivia in my life.
I'm racking my brain. I'm running through my Rolodex, and I think you're right.
Was she the woman in The Incredible Hulk?
Yes, she was.
She was oh God, I forget her name. The Hulk's love interest. What was her name? Not Jackie. She's got a really good comic book name.
Betty Ross.
Betty Ross. Dang it.
Isn't that who made the flag?
No, that's Betsy Ross.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know that one. I know my flag history. Look, that's it's Paraguay's national flag right there. I'm a big flag man. I love flags.
Well, happy Flag Day to you on Sunday.
Oh, is it? Oh, we should have a Flag Day segment on Sunday. That should be great at the Omaha Baseball Village. So she did Jersey Girls. I've heard of that before. She was in Captain America: Brave New World. I did see her there. Is there anything else she did?
Oh, yes.
Notably,
she was in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, she wasn't Legolas, was she? I know who played Legolas.
Arwen.
Who's Arwen?
Whatever that means. I don't know.
Okay.
Not a Lord of the Rings guy.
Neither. Wow, you're not?
No.
I didn't mean to insult you there. Maybe you took that as an insult, thinking you're a Lord of the Rings person.
I mean,
I thought you would really like that.
She's one of our most famous Nepo babies. She is the daughter of Aerosmith lead singer Steven Tyler.
Oh, there you go.
And
but she seems talented enough.
Yeah, she has some talent. She was in Armageddon.
Okay.
She was also she was in a lot of Aerosmith music videos with Alicia Silverstone, and it was really weird because, like, man, that's your daughter. But I mean,
lived a very interesting life.
She seems relatively normal despite her father.
She's from New
sexualizing
York.
her. Let's just call a spade, as you say.
She is a very New York looking woman. She just looks like she's from New York. She was married twice and no longer married to anybody right now. David Gardner, not related to Jennifer Gardner. Who is the second person on our ladies of the decade?
We will go with
probably our final one.
Fairuza Balk.
Who?
Fairuza Balk. F-A-I.
You mean Veruca Salt?
Kind of. If you say it very quickly, it sometimes sounds like that.
Oh, wow. She comes up right away.
Yeah.
Fairuza.
Yes.
Balk. Okay. She looks wildly... Whoa, okay. She looks wildly familiar. I don't know what I might have seen her. What she's most famous for?
I would say probably The Craft. Almost Famous. She was in American History X as well.
I'm going to be real with you. This woman is in nothing I've ever seen before.
Andy, you're not a huge Sandler guy, and that's fine. But The Waterboy, I forgot The Waterboy. She's
I've never seen The Waterboy.
Adam Sandler's love interest in The Waterboy.
Yeah, I've never seen The
Talking to a sports audience, that might be the thing she's actually most known for.
Am I allowed to be a sport radio host because I've never seen The Waterboy?
Yeah, because of your age, I think it's fine. Yeah.
God, I love using that excuse. I'm going to be really upset when I don't have that excuse anymore. Like when I don't know things, like sometimes when I don't know things, I go, I wasn't born yet.
I wasn't alive.
I wasn't alive. You can't hold it against me. What's going to happen when I'm 50? I'm like, I was alive and I should know that.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to be...
Charlie Weiss was a very notable figure.
You're just going to be mad that somebody younger than you doesn't know what's what.
Whoa. I cannot wait to be a hypocrite. I cannot wait. I'm all fired up to be like, oh, these youngs, they don't know anything. You know, back in my day, we used to do radio the proper way.
That's
and
right.
Now they're all TikToking these. But can you imagine? Like when I'm like, you know, we used to have real apps like TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
It's going to happen to you.
Now all these kids have holograms and, you know, shoes that are self-tying. What a bunch of losers.
They're living life offline.
Touch a screen, you dummies. Middays with Matt, having more fun here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network. Coming up next. Hey, we have a half off deal with Stories Coffee Company. $10 vouchers for just $25 to Stories Coffee. Stories Coffee serves fresh roasted specialty coffee along with a full menu of tea, smoothies, and food. Break away from your boring coffee routine and stop by a Stories Coffee Company. Handcrafted, locally roasted, premium coffee is served with a smile. One of their 5 stores in the Omaha locations. All right, so we're going to be giving away some Stories Coffee gift vouchers. We're going to do that. We're going to have someone from KETV on. I believe it might be Andy Kendi. We're working with him right now. It's supposed to be Lawrence week, but they're over at the Schwab covering the open practices right now. So after we talk to Andy and before we get to what to watch, we're going to give you a question about the College World Series, and then you can go ahead and email Josh Hodson the answer to that question. Then you can go ahead and give yourself an opportunity to win some vouchers to Stories Coffee. Awesome coffee place. I've been to the one, I think it's 120th and Center or thereabouts is where one of the Stories Coffee's locations is, if I'm not mistaken. I've been there a couple of times. Great place. Go and grab a cup of coffee and just kind of sit down, relax, and get some work done. So we'll give out some Stories Coffee gift vouchers around 1:35 today to give yourself an opportunity to get some free Stories Coffee, baby. Alrighty. We're going to do 2 different things. We're going to do the buy, sell, hold bet when it comes to Illinois and Washington football. But before we do that, let's talk about the College World Series. There's been some drinking guides out there. Okay. Been some people on social media who are giving you the kind of the touristy, go to this bar, go to that bar. You know, this is where you have to do. This is what you have to drink. You know, you want to hit Rocco's, get a Jello shot, go to Lefty's. Listen, I'm not trying to disparage those people, but I do question. I mean, like, as a man who drinks, okay, some of these people were given some guidelines. They're a little bit too touristy for me, okay? I'm speaking to the people who would like to get a buzz before they get into the stadium. I'm talking to the people who would like to get a buzz after their game, and then who would also like to continue drinking and keep the things rolling right after the College World Series game. So I have a couple of tips and tricks when it comes to drinking at the College World Series, something I have done multiple times.
Thank you for sharing these with us.
In the same area too. I mean, I live downtown. Okay. I've had drinks at these bars. Number 1, first and foremost, if you're a tourist from out of town who are here for the College World Series, you want to get your drink in. Here is the number 1 thing you need to know. You got to get 3 drinks in before you walk out of your hotel. Okay.
Whoa.
You gotta get a little bit of a buzz before you leave, okay? Because if you don't get a little bit of a buzz before you take your Uber, before you walk down to the CWS, it's going to be harder to get it going. The lines are going to be long. The drinks are going to be expensive. The covers might be pretty bad. If you really want to get your buzz going, the best bang for your buck and the most efficient way before you do it is to get it going before you leave, okay? I'm not telling you to get hammered before you walk out the door, but you know your limits, okay? So just, rev up the engine just a little bit, just crank on the lawnmower a couple of times before you walk out to the CWS, okay? Before you go to the OBV, okay?
Terrible start, but fine.
Then, after you get your buzz going, you want to go straight to the Omaha Baseball Village. You want to go straight to the Matt parking lot, okay? Get to the Matt parking lot. And keep things going, okay? Keep things rolling. Get another beer. Get another mix. Get another drink. This is what you need to do, okay? Now, after you do that, after you get your other beer, you want to go ahead, get a water. It's going to be a long day, okay? It's going to be a very, very long day for you. So grab a water. Maybe you packed a couple of waters. Maybe you were a pro, all right, before things started rolling, right? And so you keep your buzz going at the mat, at the parking lot area. You go ahead, you have your drink. Now you have your water. Now, just walk around. Just walk around the OPV. Go to the tents, do a little shopping, pick up a hat, pick up a shirt, enjoy yourself, right? At this point, depending on your limits, for me, I'd be about 4 drinks in. I'm feeling really good. I'm sipping on my water. I'm keeping myself hydrated. I'm looking at oh my God, look at this weird tent. Look at this weird tent. Look at this great tent. Look at this hat. Look at this hoodie. Look at this shirt. Having a good time. Okay, then now, this is where you go and you get your first little bite to eat. Okay? Get your first little bite to eat. Go to a little food truck, right? Don't do what your friends are doing, by the way, too. This is your opportunity to explore the Omaha Baseball Village. This is your opportunity. Try Greek with me. Try the Runza truck. Maybe if you're out of town, you never had a Runza, this might be the time to have a Runza. Maybe you go to a barbecue truck. Maybe you go to a taco truck. Explore the space. Be like the cowbell guy in SNL. Really explore the space. Explore the baseball village, right? Here's the thing. The College World Series, this is your individual experience. Don't be a sheep, all right? Don't do what everybody else is doing. Do what you want to do, all right? Maybe if you want, hey, maybe I want another drink, go back to the mat. Go to that little thing. Get another drink. Do what you want. But really go and get something to eat, okay? Get something to eat. Now, after you get something to eat, you're going to be, maybe you're making your way into the stadium. When you walk into the stadium, and I don't have to tell Omaha people this, but when you walk into the stadium and you go into the game, right? Go ahead and find that wristband person immediately, okay? Find, like, the first thing you have to do, as soon as you walk into the stadium, as soon as you scan your ticket, find the wristband person. Ask around, where can I get my drinking wristband? You don't want to be the person who then goes up to go and buy a beer, and then you don't have your wristband, okay? So you go into the stadium, first question you ask, where are the wristbands? Go up, show your ID, get your wristband.
Okay, we got that. What you? Okay, keep it moving.
What? I'm trying. I'm doing the whole experience.
You started by saying, don't do what everyone else is going to do. Don't wait in the long lines, and then it's, hey, you should drink at the Omaha Baseball Village.
Well,
you should drink at the stadium.
Going.
You should drink at the stadium.
All right. You get your beer. You drink in the stadium. Now you're outside of the stadium. Okay.
Drink 3 in your hotel room before you go because it's going to be super expensive. Get a $15 beer at the stadium.
Well, where are you going to get cheap beers? There's nowhere that you're going to go that you're going to get a cheap beer. Maybe the Happy Bar. All right, maybe that's the only place you're going to get a cheap beer. That's why I said there's no way to kind of cut it.
I'm also curious because before this segment started, you said, Josh, I got 4 pages of notes on drinking downtown.
No, I'm
waiting to see that work.
So then after that, here's my number 1 rule, okay? You got to understand that a lot of people are taking in money for covers and whatnot, okay? If you're going down there, you have to bring cash. You have to pay covers, okay? My advice to you is, if you're nice to these people, if you're kind to these people, if you're not causing a muck, right? If you're tipping pretty well, you might be able to get out of a cover or 2, okay? You might be able, if you're going to be here a while, okay, in Omaha, really get to know your bartenders. Maybe get to know the bouncers. Maybe have a conversation or 2 with the people around there, okay? Because if you do that and you create good relationships, you might be able to go and get past a cover or 2, okay? That would be a recommendation. After the game, at night, I have 2 really big tips. Number 1 is lefties and Roccos and everything. Like, if you're going to do it with a lot of people. Okay. If you're going to go to Rocco's or Lefties at night, like, make sure you're bringing a group of people with you, right? Because there's a lot of people down there, right? It's very hectic. It's very loud. You want to be with a group of people that you know, because it can get a little crazy. Okay. If you're going to do that,
There's going to be a lot of people there. So bring more people.
Yes. No, but like, there's a lot of rowdy people, Josh.
Okay.
All right. You don't want to go there just you and another person, and all the other people are very rowdy. Right? You want to be, you want to have a group with you.
Mm-hmm.
I would say go to the Old Market. At the very end, towards the end of the night, right? Everybody's going to be surrounded by the stadium. Everybody's going to be there for the night game. Everybody's going to be there at the DJ at the mat. Everybody's going to be in the parking lot. Everybody's going to be doing that type of thing. If you want to get away from the crowd and you're more looking to just have a lot of beers and have a really good time, I'd suggest going down to the Old Market. Okay? That's what I would do. I would go to Barrios. I'd go near JD Tucker's. I would go, in that area, in the Old Market area. It is going to be a zoo down there by the CWS, by the mat parking lot. Okay. That's what I would do. If that's what your tips are, I'd say in the morning, go to the Omaha Baseball Village. Okay. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, go to the OBV. There's going to be less people there during that time than there's going to be people at night. Okay, you're going to be able to experience all of the markets. You're going to be able to have drinks without waiting in long lines. You're going to be able to go to the game, and it's not going to be that crazy. Maybe Rocco's and Lefties will be a little bit less hectic, and you can go and get your Jello shot. But when the nighttime hits and the covers hit 60, okay? And when everybody's crowded around Rockos and lefties, that's when you zag. I was offered to pay a $60 cover until I was
60.
Asked for $60
to get in the door.
Yeah.
I would laugh at that person.
Well, I was laughing with that person.
You were laughing with that person.
And then they're like, you're good. You can go on it.
Oh.
Which is why I give the tip, be nice to people. Make good relationships. You could get out of some sticky covers. But this is the main point here. Get buzzed before you leave the hotel. Be around the stadium in the morning to afternoon. And then when it turns into a zoo at night, that's when I would go to the old market.
If you don't want to isolate yourself in your hotel room, just walk up and down lot D, introduce yourself, make some friends.
That's another great tip.
There's some excellent drinks, excellent food, and new friends.
There are very nice people in lot D.
Mm-hmm.
There are very good people in lot D who are willing to give you just free drink and free food whenever you want it. That is a great tip, Josh. I'm more so talking about if you're going to spend money near the stadium. Do the OBV in the morning, the afternoon, and then if you're still out at night, I would go to the old market. I love the old market. It's probably my favorite place to drink. Probably my favorite place to have a good time. If you're going into the stadium, though, I'm telling you, the number one tip for people who haven't been here before, I've never heard of the wristband thing before I got to Omaha.
What?
In Chicago, the whole buying a beer, like you have to go and get a wristband. You have to go to a separate table and show, that doesn't exist in Chicago.
Really?
No. If they even ask you, are you 21? You just show your ID to the individual person. They look at it, they give you a beer. If they even ask you.
Interesting.
Like the whole, when I first bought a beer in Lincoln, I went up and they're like, you got to get a wristband. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it's just every venue does it here. So I assumed that was a best practice
never
of America.
At Wrigley Field and at the United Center, at Soldier Field, there's no such thing as going to the wristband area. I don't know if it's a thing in other places. I'll tell you this. It wasn't a thing. I don't know. Kenneth, is it a thing at Notre Dame? When I bought a beer at Notre Dame, I didn't have to do it. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's a Nebraska only thing. There are definitely other places that do that. But at the same time, yeah, that's why you have to tell the people out of state. It might sound funny to you to tell the people go and get a wristband. It was not standard practice when I was drinking. Growing up. So there you go. The more you know. All right. Real quick before we hit Andy Kennedy here at 120. He's currently eating a sandwich, by the way.
What kind of sandwich? What are the details? Homemade? Store-bought?
He just said crushing a sandwich will be ready at 120. So
okay.
Alex, he's actually.
We might need to ask about that sandwich.
He's actually the second person who told me that he had a sandwich today. Alex Sindelar texted to me. I just had a sandwich at Lake Courtier in Lincoln. So good.
Sindelar, text me what was on that sandwich.
Alex Sindelar also said, "Can you explain who Ella Langley is to me?" I do not know who this person is.
Is that country girl with the song?
She is a beautiful country artist.
The Texas and leaving a woman for Texas or leaving a man for Texas.
Yes. She's from Texas.
This is that Ella Langley person.
Yes. She is gorgeous. She's smart. She's a great singer. She's a phenomenal songwriter.
How do you know she's smart? Just out of curiosity.
I just watch interviews.
Okay.
And she just seems very, well within herself.
I'm not saying she's not smart. How do you glean that? From the interviews. That's an acceptable answer. Yeah.
So anyway, that's who she is, Alex. She's a beautiful country artist. All right, buy, sell, hold, or bet. This is the new little thing we're going to do with college football teams throughout the season. Our first buy, sell, hold, bet college football team today is Illinois. It's a team that Nebraska will be playing on a Friday in Illinois. Some people might remember that one of Matt Rule's greatest wins in his career is at Illinois in Champaign.
Sad.
Was that game on a Friday too? I
Yes.
believe it was. I am selling Illinois.
Okay.
They have lost too much everywhere this season. Luke Altmaier, an incredibly underrated quarterback, one of the better NIL transfer quarterbacks that we've seen in college football over the last couple of years. 7,600 yards, had over 50 touchdowns, didn't turn over the ball too much. He's gone. Hank Beatty, really good wide receiver, 860 plus receiving yards last season. He's now gone. Their starting center, Josh Kreutz, did not get drafted, but also gone as well, graduated. He signed a training camp deal with the Chicago Bears. You also have to add in the fact that they lost one of their best corners in Miles Scott. He got drafted in the 7th round in the NFL. You also, in the 2nd round, Gabe Yakas was one of the best offensive linemen, not only on the Illinois Fighting Illini, but also just in the country, period, end of story. He's been one of the best D linemen in the entirety of the Big Ten for the last couple of seasons. They simply have just lost too much. Lost the starting DB, lost a lot in the offensive line, lost a lot in the defensive line, lost their starting quarterback. They've been depleted. And look, Caden Hauser is fine. To me, it's just, I don't know if, has he gotten better or was he just playing easier competition at East Carolina? The difference between him and Anthony Calandria is that, like, Anthony Calandria has that speed ability, has that running ability where I'm like, all right, because of his versatility and the things that he can do, that might be more conducive in terms of having more success in the Big Ten. Caden Hauser doesn't have that. And so I think they downgraded at running back. It's going to be tough to keep that offensive line together and having as much success as they've had in the past. They've lost a ton of the defensive line. They lost a ton in the DB room. Now they have their 2 safeties coming back. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, do you like Illinois or do you like Brett Bielema? Like, do you like Illinois' roster or do you just like their head coach? And it's just, I don't really like their roster. That's kind of my problem. That's my point. It's, you can trust the system. You can trust their head coach. You can trust Brett Bielema. But if you don't have the players, you don't have the players. And they've kind of gone through this process where it's the first time that Illinois has won back-to-back, 9-win seasons. They just don't have a lot of the guys that they've done that with.
Feels like a 7-win team, 8-win team. Like,
it's a team that
maybe win the bowl game, make it 9.
You're not going to show up to Champaign and beat them. You're just not going to show up and win. But they definitely aren't as big of a threat as they've been in the past, and that's for sure. And they were everybody's darling last year heading into the season, and then they ended up getting the brakes blown off of them by Indiana, and then they had a terrible loss to Washington, which they didn't lose that game. We might have had some more interesting conversations about them down the stretch.
They got to go to the shoe. Oregon comes to their house this year. Like, feels pretty difficult.
Speaking of Washington, we are holding with Washington.
Diamond strong hands.
We are going to hold with Washington.
Okay.
I'm not buying. I'm definitely not selling. I'm not betting on them either. I'm holding. Here's why. They did lose. They lost Denzel Boston. They lost Jonah Coleman. They have really good talent over in Seattle, but we're talking about 2 top guys who were in the Big Ten last year at the running back and wide receiver position. But Damon Williams, top 3 quarterback in the Big Ten. I mean, Dante Moore for sure is one. And then I think you'd be hard-pressed to find too many other guys that I would put over Damon Williams. I think he's an absolute stud. They have some really good young talent on their defensive line. Here's the thing, though, about their defense in general. He was a terrible head coach, but in Ryan Walters, I trust if he's the defensive coordinator. He was the DC for Illinois for a couple of seasons where they had, the first couple of successful seasons that eventually led into the success they've had there with Brett Bielema over the last 2 years. Develop some really good guys in the secondary. I mean, Ryan Walters knows what he's doing from a secondary perspective in terms of getting guys to perform. Devon Witherspoon, Jatavius Martin, Sidney Brown, all those guys are NFL players. They came through Illinois, were coached by Walters. And then they have a super talented defensive line as well, with a good mixture of young and old talent. I like Washington. I like Jed Fish. I like Damon Williams. I like their defensive coordinator. I like the pieces they had on defense. They lose a lot in terms of weapons with Boston and Coleman. At the same time, I'm willing to hold with them and see what they can do. This is a team that, according to On3, is going to be a top 7 team in the Big Ten. I don't think that you're just throwing out there lightly, right? This team has talent. This team is good coaching. This team kind of has a system. They know what they're doing. And they showed you some things last year. Lost a little, which is why if they were bringing back Coleman and Boston, I'd be betting. But they're not, so I'm going to hold.
Here's what I know about Washington. They will either be a playoff team or like the single most disappointing team in college football.
They bring back 4 offensive linemen from last year's team. Now, offensive line wasn't necessarily a strength. I've talked about this a lot. I'd rather have 60% of production coming back on a 9-win team than having 80% production coming back for a 6-win team, right? They're a 6-win team for a reason. So their offensive line wasn't the best, But for continuity's sake, to bring back 4 starting offensive linemen and to have that trust in them, I think that they're going to be able to push some teams around. So when we're ranking the second tier of teams that you're worried about that Nebraska will play in, I would say that second tier of teams is Iowa, Washington, Illinois. Washington would be the one I'm most afraid of. I'd be most afraid of Washington. The team that I'm least afraid of would be Illinois. And I think Iowa stands in kind of that precarious position where I would ask the same question. Do you like Iowa or do you like Kirk Ferentz? Like, because Iowa's roster has lost a record amount of talent according to their standards, 7 draft picks. We'll talk about Iowa at some point in our buy, sell, hold bet segment, but that was a fun little thing along with drinking. I know I was getting a little clowned about my drinking suggestions. It's expensive to drink in Omaha, right? You want to get your buzz going, start in the hotel, start your mornings and afternoons at the OBV. Like, get outside to the old market at night because it can turn pretty hectic. Okay, at Rocco's and Lefties. That's my tip. You don't have to take it. That's just my suggestions here on Middays with Matt. Coming up next, Andy Kendi of KTV joins us. Funplex and 1620 Zone are teaming together for Mammoth Kickoff Week. 69th and Q Street Funplex is set to open their new roller coaster, Mammoth, early this summer, which would be Nebraska's largest roller coaster. Check out their rides. Funplex Speedway, Go-Kart, Slick Track, Wipeout, Crazy Cars, and more. Check out their water park, which include the Double Trouble, Drop Slides, Rockin' Rapids, Typhoon Falls, Motion Ocean, Lazy River, and more. Listen all week to Apper and Schaefer for a chance to win a pair of passes into Funplex. We are joined by KETV's very own Andy. Candy, AK, how are you?
My friend, I am great. I'm in section 121 under the overhang and just had a nice, tasty free sandwich courtesy of the NCAA. And, I'm just enjoying Alabama going through their on-field workout.
What sandwich was that? What type of sandwich did the NCAA give you?
Oh, well, you had options. I went turkey and Swiss. I bypassed the ham, and I bypassed the salami.
Oh, wow.
Bypassed the onions. Better move. You don't eat onions on an interview day. So, it was good. It was good.
Oh,
and then,
is that for the breath? Are you saying that for the breath? No onions for the breath?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely. Come on now.
I'm sorry. I guess I have to come. No salmon and garlic either then, correct?
Correct. And we're in close quarters down in the, what do they call it? I don't even know what we call it. It's kind of like the storage room in which they, keep the fans blowing where they keep all the electronic media.
I'll tell you this right now. Those fans at the College World Series are big. Talk about industrial fans. Yeah. Those are, that's what that is.
I'm right under one. It's not even on. And
okay.
I'll tell you, I'm like, I could use a little fan right now. And I'm trying to figure out, before today's over, I'm going to figure out how to turn that thing on. Because it's big and purposeful. So, because it gets a little stuffy in there.
What number College World Series is this for you?
Well, I've covered every one in the new ballpark. Even the one that I was, so this is 15, right? Because
yes,
they didn't
15.
have one in COVID. So, and when I was out with my back, I technically kind of covered it. I went to a couple of games, but I didn't really work it. But I did steal a couple free sodas. I think the statute of limitations have expired now, so I think I'm okay.
Okay.
My big thing is okay. They used to go with the 8-ounce Diet Coke and the Powerade and whatever. They're full-fledged 16.9 ounces right now, and you've got a full cooler of it. I'm just thinking, like, what's my over/under in Diet Coke consumption?
Oh,
at the College World Series, and I'm like, is 40 too big of a number?
Yeah.
40.
I mean, what? How many days are you going to be spending there, hypothetically? 12, 13?
12, yeah. So, like, that's 3.5 a day. That's easy. I'm already almost done with 2.
Oh, and you think are you gonna easily have 3 a day? Is that what you think we're pushing here?
Oh, easy. I probably, this is one of my vices. It's terrible. I've tried to cut back from time to time, but I probably drink 7 to 8 a day.
Oh, what? You drink 7 to 8 Diet Cokes a day?
Diet Cokes a day, probably.
And Andy, I don't mean to be that guy, and I'm sure already, people have already said this to you. I don't know how healthy that is.
Yeah, I don't think so. My doctor said, "Hey, cut back."
Okay.
And I said, "Yeah, you know what?
AK. If your doctor's telling you to cut back, you probably should cut back. No?
Probably, yeah. But I'll tell you what: if they do, if Diet Coke comes out and there's some kind of class action suit where there's something bad for you, I'm gonna be first in line there.
I'm pretty sure it already is like a 2B carcinogen, if I'm not mistaken. I'm already sure it's.
I'll tell you, of all
there.
things that could kill you, if I go down with Diet Coke, I fought the good fight. So.
That you did. Speaking of fighting the good fight, who do you think is going to fight the best fight? You got any your pick for the College World Series? You got a team that you're keeping your eye on?
I love that the second bracket, the Saturday bracket. I think the winner comes out of that. But the beauty of the College World Series, they don't reseed when you get to Omaha. So it's really, whoever gets out of that, the first bracket or top bracket or however you want to categorize it, has a fighting chance. You win 2 out of 3, you're the national champ. But I think it's hard to pick against Georgia. They've been the best team in the best conference all year. So I think it would be difficult to go against them, but we've seen it before where a team just gets hot at the right time. And, this park plays so differently than a lot of these teams are used to. I'll be interested to see if, the Mashers, the home run hitting team, are able to continue that here. We'll see, because, the ballpark plays so big, and you know how it goes. You get to the World Series, and what wins the games? Pitching and good base running and awesome defense. And so if you can put those three together, you're going to be in every game. And so, but Georgia just seems to be so well-rounded. I like North Carolina because of their pitching, but can they hit enough to win? And then, but one thing's for sure, they're battle-tested. But, you can say that about, all 8 of these teams, So I like Georgia, but I really do think you could make a case for any of the teams, all 8 of them. But I would say Georgia, Texas, North Carolina, those would be the top.
You got a favorite CWS moment that you've covered, my friend?
Well, I was there when the huge storm came in and everybody was running across the street, and thankfully nobody was really hurt. So that's pretty cool. I had a good string. You want to hear? This is a goofy story for you. So I had a goofy string of like 5 straight years where I'd be in the men's room, going to the restroom, right? And the head coach would come in and do his thing next to me, right?
Okay.
It's part of the deal, right? Because it's the restroom right before you go on the field. And I had a string about 5 straight years where the winning coach of that tournament happened to take a leak next to me. So I think word's gotten out, so people are starting to fight to see when I go in there just to make sure, because everybody wants to win the World Series. And last year, Jay Johnson, the LSU coach, revived the streak. So if that's some useless knowledge for you that really has nothing to do with anything and kind of inappropriate, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it for you.
So your favorite moments are sharing a twinkle with coaches?
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I say congratulations and just kind of put your head down. You look straight ahead or you look down.
Are there troughs in the media area at the CHI Health Center? People are wondering.
No.
Or at the Charles Schwab Stadium.
That's strictly urinals, my friend. Strictly urinals. This is a modern facility. I will say though, there's so many awesome moments, and we've seen so many great players come through here. I'll tell you a good one. The no-hitter was awesome.
Yeah.
By the Arkansas kid. That was awesome. But seeing like LSU and all those great players come through, going through these teams and those guys, and even going back to Stanley Swanson and Bregman that year, Adley Rushman came through. You can go down and on. Lonzo, Taglione. Like, that's the cool part about it, about these kids. Who's going to be that guy this year? And you could make a case for a handful of players. But that's the beauty of college baseball. Not only do you see these great teams go at it, but you see these great future all-stars in the big leagues kind of get their start. And I think the game is better, though, Matt, right now as it was compared to 15 years ago. Because I think guys have a better reason to stay in school rather than to, try your luck at the draft. There's less of a draft. There's fewer rounds. There's more guys staying in school, which makes the college game better. I'll be interested to see how that evolves in the next 5 or 10 years. But I think right now the college game is as good as we've seen it, and that's why we've been treated to some awesome baseball the last few years.
2 years ago, we had that College World Series where all the teams were from the ACC and the SEC. And a lot of people were kind of doing their macro takes of, all right, this is what it's going to be like from here on out. You're not going to have the Cinderella schools, NIL, and the transfer portal. And, we quickly learned with Murray State last year and then Troy this year that, that's not completely true. Baseball is baseball and weird things are going to happen. But this year, you have 5 SEC teams. After last year, you only had 2 SEC teams in the College World Series. I mean, do you think that, is there any kind of burning take to be made here that this is because of the money that's being pumped into SEC baseball, that this is going to be the standard? Or do you think this is kind of just, it's one of those things, record 5 SEC teams, it happens? Or do you think this is going to be a trend?
Well, I think it's too early to tell that, but I think as now you see the teams that are, fully funded, that's going to be a buzz phrase you'll hear time and time again as scholarship limits increase. and what have you. You look at the teams who are here, the 5 SEC teams are the guys who spend probably the most money on that conference spends the most money on baseball versus any conference in the country. So it would make sense that the most teams from that conference make it to Omaha. But the beauty of college baseball is that if a team gets hot, a la Troy, is that you can still have a Cinderella make it to Omaha. And I don't know if you can say the same thing. I think we're closer with Cinderella in baseball than we are with, college basketball at this point. And I think that adds some juice to the tournament. That's why I think one of the great, undervalued weekends of the sporting calendar is that first weekend of the NCAA baseball tournament, because there's so many upsets in that first regional round. I mean, to not only have your number one team not make it out, but then not have your number two team make it out to get to Omaha, that's pretty incredible. And, basketball can't say that. But I think as we move forward, you'll see the budgets for baseball increase, the rosters get bigger and better. But I think that the kind of the thing not many people talk about is, how do we deal with the draft? If you commit to college, you're not draft eligible until after 3 years. So if you're on the fence and you want to play as a freshman and you want to go be draft eligible, why not go play JUCO and get some really decent reps and get viewed by major league scouts? So I think that's going to be the thing to keep an eye on as we move forward, because JUCO baseball has completely increased its talent level and the quality of play at that level, because those guys can get drafted, after the year, or even better, they can take their talent and say, hey, look what I did at this level, and cash in on year 2 or wherever, and go to a big school and make some money. And your clock is still ticking because you're still draft eligible after year 3. So that's what I think that people don't really talk about. And I know I'm in the weeds here, but I think people don't really talk about that fact much because of the college game, and we're so focused on the 18s here in Omaha. But I think that's something to take a look at. Do you go to an Oklahoma and Alabama and LSU or North Carolina, what have you? Or do you take your talents to a JUCO and then try your luck there and maybe even cash in that way? So I think that's something to keep an eye on.
What's the coverage going to look like for KTV? Are we, new guy? Is he going to be with the big camera on his shoulder? Lauren going live? You back at the studio? You use Eddie Messel? Eddie Messel's got some CWS experience. I mean, what are we doing here?
He does. Well, I tell you what, a new guy did the early morning shift. Noah had the 9, 10, 11, and 12 team. So he's going to be featured prominently on First News from the Field. So make sure you join us early tomorrow morning for First News on the Field. Lauren and I are doing the later shift today, and Lauren will be on the 5 o'clock tonight, the 6th. I'll be doing the 6th and the 10th. Tomorrow we're doing shows all live, all day, all at FanFest. Come say hi to us. Bill Ramby says he's signing an autograph, so that should be, I'm sure there's going to be a line out the door for that. I think we got to get security for that. But we normally do a pre-tournament special. This year they're tweaking it. We're going to do a pre-championship game 2. So game 2 of the championship series, a week from Sunday on Father's Day, is on ABC. So we will preview that instead of doing a pre-tournament special, which we normally do on a day like today. That's why today's kind of feeling weird. I feel like I should be busier than I am because normally I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But this is a different pace.
Andy Kennedy of KETV covering everything, the College World Series. Thank you so much, my friend. Look forward to talking to you in a couple of weeks. We will see you soon, all right?
Yeah, sounds good, my friend. And I'm on the Diet Coke number 3. Here we go.
Attaboy. I would set the line at 43.5 for Andy in terms of the Diet Cokes that he's going to be drinking. He's drinking easily 3 a day.
I feel like one rain delay and the over is going to hit.
Absolutely. 43.5 is our line. All righty, we're giving away some Stories Coffee gift vouchers. We have a couple of them here to give away. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to email Josh O at 1620 The Zone. Very simple, okay? You don't have to do the honor system, but it'd be, you're probably more advantageous to do the honors. Like if you go off of your intuition to win the Stories Coffee gift vouchers, you can look this answer up too, but we don't encourage that. Give me a College World Series MVP, a player who has won the most outstanding player at the College World Series. Give me a player who's won the most outstanding player at the College World Series from the years 2014 to 2019. If you give me any one player that has won the most outstanding player at the College World Series from 2014 to 2019, so you have 6 options. You give me one player who's won that award, and you get it quick enough to Josh Hodson, Joshua at 1620 The Zone, he will give you some gift vouchers of Scory's Coffee. So give me one player who's won the most outstanding player of CWS from 2014 to 2019. A great, a lot of options here. Some MLB players, some guys who've been picked in the first round, some guys who've been picked number 1 overall. You have a plethora of players to pick from 2014 to 2019. Joshua at 1620 Zone will give you some gift vouchers to Stories Coffee here in 1620 Zone. What to watch and Dog of the Day coming up next.
Just naming flags.
That one right behind the camera. That's Monaco. That one's Monaco.
There's Argentina.
That's Argentina. I don't know that one.
Before we came on the air, the Parade of Nations happening at the World Cup right now. You're just rattling them off.
I know. I love flags. I
thought that was one of
flags
those
are
things that you
incredible.
just say because sometimes you say things.
I do say things,
but you were showing your work.
I knew. These last two are hard ones, and I knew them at one point, and I don't anymore. I was studying them.
I've never seen that one before.
Okay, so the one that I said was Colombia was not Colombia. That was Venezuela. This one's Colombia right here with the yellow, blue, and red. The one behind him is England, obviously. Then you got Croatia, followed up by Cameroon, and then the one after. I think the one that I said was Cameroon and I think that might have been Senegal.
Oh no.
This
what a faux pas.
I do not know.
Canada, I know that one.
That one I should know. Flags fascinate me.
Okay, so these must be the last three, the host nations.
Yeah, the host nations. But that's Canada, Mexico.
Look at them walking out side by side.
I could have put on a better performance there. I think
you didn't know it was going to happen.
Sprung into action. Oh, there's South Korea right there. That's a good one. I forget the yellow. Okay, we got it. Where are we watching? I'm sorry.
We're going to watch the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 5. Vegas, Carolina, 7:00 on ABC. That series tied at 2. Imagine being a championship series not tied at 2 right now. Baseball, Diamondbacks and the Marlins going on right now on MLB Network tonight on ESPN at 6:00. It is the Mariners and the Orioles. Amazon Prime has a WNBA doubleheader tonight. Chicago, Indiana at 6, followed by Phoenix, Dallas. And here in a couple minutes, the World Cup officially gets underway in Mexico. The Mexico team, they will take on South Africa. And then one more match tonight, 9:00 on FS1, South Korea versus Czechia.
Can't wait for the dog of the day. This one I feel it in my loins. I feel it deep inside
my plums.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs.
I'm not a football expert or a soccer expert, but I definitely am. I am kind of like a people sport. Like, I just kind of like analyzing things here. You're in Mexico City. Right? Mexico's playing. The beginning of the World Cup. Everybody's fired up. Mexico's got a great team. I'm going to take South Africa to win this game. I think South Africa shocks the world. I think South Africa just puts the World Cup on its side just to begin. I'll take South Africa plus 809 to win this game.
Isn't this supposed to be a layup? Like, that's why it's the opening match?
But it's supposed to lull you into a
false sense of security.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think South Africa sweeps Mexico from under their feet and ends up winning this game. Middays, Matt, was a fun show today here in studio. We will not be in studio tomorrow. We'll be at the Omaha Baseball Village. Cannot wait to bring you that action from just outside the College World Series. Me and Mike Schaefer are leading it off at 10 a.m. Should be a ton of fun. Don't forget to come to the OBV. Say hi to us throughout the week. USC and the crossover coming up next.